What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I'm dying.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Woo?
Yeah, right.
We're all dying, really, technically.
Yeah, it's
None
true.
of us are, getting less dying.
Well, I've been extremely ill for the past 24 hours, but we don't have a better time, so let's do it.
We're doing
it's
it.
a sick pod.
Diggins is playing hurt. This is his Jordan flu game. He's going to drop like 60 or whatever.
This is those
Drop
20
60
minutes.
or something.
This is those 20 minutes before Teo died, or whatever. Not Teo. What was Tua?
Oh, God.
I already forgot his name.
God.
These are the minutes where the coach was like, pretend not to be concussed. Sacrifice your body for the sport, they said to him. And he survived.
And he was like, okay. And now he's totally fine, and there's nothing wrong with him, and he's a good football player. All good. No worries.
Yep.
Yeah.
And nothing else happened this season to make you question how healthy football is for the people who play it.
Nope.
So we all just forgot.
Yep.
Who's excited for the Super Bowl?
That's this weekend,
wait.
right?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
So, Diggins, because you're probably the most football aware on this podcast, who do you
That's
think's going to win?
I'm going to go with the Eagles.
All right, going with the
Wow,
going with the Eagles.
That's about as bad as saying a team that's not in it, as far as I'm concerned. It's a big no-no. I don't know. They might win, but I don't think they're going to win.
Nando, say more.
I can feel it.
Please say more.
As someone who is in Philadelphia, the energy, we've had this happen like 3 times in the last year. Gotten some sort of championship that we whiffed. And I feel it again. It's electric in the air, and it's the kind of electric that, it's a toaster falling into a bathtub, as opposed to the good kind.
I would have assumed that the energy around Philadelphia would be one of like excitement, because I feel like you guys. I'm just like saying you guys in the generic like Philly sports public, which is probably every resident of Philadelphia. Like when you're there, you're like let's go. And what's weird about the Super Bowl, right? It's not the World Series where it's like, oh God, we're up games, we're down games. I feel sick. I just can't do this anymore. Like it's one game where you could talk yourself into, yeah, we're gonna win the Super Bowl. Let's go.
Oh yeah, I mean they totally could, but I don't think they will.
Okay.
I think this is going to be the year. Well, is it a record if a team in one 365-day period loses every championship in every sport?
I don't know if
that
that
right?
has happened. I would say I doubt it. But wait, so are you positing that you think that might happen for? It happened with baseball. You're saying it could happen with football and basketball?
I guess it would need to be basketball. It was because we lost football.
Yep.
We lost
baseball. Yep.
Soccer in the same day.
Yeah, that savage. Yeah, that was rough.
And didn't we have a rough hockey season too, or something?
Yeah, but it's not like you got. You're going to get to the
okay.
championship. Like the Flyers are pretty bad. But it would be amazing if like there's a legitimate shot that the Sixers could go to the NBA Finals, and like that would just be amazing if like you whiffed on all those.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll happen, but possible.
I just don't believe. I don't know. I think it's. I can see the signs.
Okay.
I can see history repeating itself.
What I think, Nando? I think you were doing a reverse jinx.
Oh.
I think you're putting that energy out there that you're not going to do well in hopes that you secretly will do well. That's what this feels like. I thought you
meant I was going to go into the bathroom and not confess to any crimes. Just prove even more my innocence.
I super didn't kill anybody.
You were going to go to the bathroom and accidentally exonerate yourself from all the crimes you were trying to confess to.
Exactly. I think that's something that we could definitely call a reverse jinx.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I thought a reverse jinx would be if you were a Pokemon who has absolutely no unfortunate racial implications whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, that is a thing. And I feel like there's another jinx in my head that I can't... Oh, there's jinx from League of Legends /Arcane.
Oh, yes!
I don't know, a well-adjusted, sane
kid. Who doesn't get a bunch of people killed in like some weird tragic accident thing. Yeah,
she has a gun that sucks bazookas back into it instead of fires them. That's a reverse jinx if I've ever seen one. So you guys, before we get to that, we have to talk about the big news.
Is that a thing we're getting to?
There's bazookas in it, and it's not bazookas, but like RPGs.
Yeah, that's true. You're not wrong.
We have to talk about the big news of this week, guys. The
Yeah.
computers are racist again. Or not racist. They did other stuff, too.
Computers had a week. Computers had a week.
They've been racist before, but this was transphobic and something else. I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
I think
Does anybody have a better
slightly homophobic
hold on this story? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're really getting all the hitting the cycle on.
Yeah. So, if you're not aware, there was a funny little AI on Twitch that someone made that was generating constant 24-hour new episodes of Seinfeld. By which I mean it was just generating nonsense that it had blocky Minecraft representations of the Seinfeld cast, like performing in robotic voices. It was bizarre.
Yeah, and the script was just Chat GPT generative text.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that Friends reunion from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You guys remember that? Just like words coming out of robots, you know?
Yeah. But, it got shut down the other day because the Jerry bot did a stand-up routine where he was like, I'm going to do a bit about how trans people are evil and about how all Democrats are liberal gay people or whatever.
Yeah, it was quite unkind to I would say, like, specifically probably the gay and trans community, probably just like the queer community in general. But what's interesting about this, or not interesting, but why this had happened was they were using like a Chat GPT API to make this happen, and they switched to a different AI chatbot with less content moderation, because I don't know why they did. Maybe like larger data set. That part I don't know.
Maybe they were like, it's not true to the spirit of the people who were on Seinfeld. Don't let them say super racist or other offensive things.
Yeah, was Jerry Bot getting heckled by the audience? Is that part of it? Were there any certain people in the audience that he was trying to offend specifically? Because if I know my Seinfeld actors, that is one way this happened.
Well, they couldn't figure out a way to generate a 17-year-old girl to show up in the show for the Jerry Bot to marry, so they had to fall back on something else.
Yeah, how about that? I feel like we didn't talk about this, but I did post this last week or 2 weeks ago. Do you guys like that picture of Jerry dressed as a Zoomer from that photo shoot? It's pretty bad.
Ugh.
It's like worse. It's not as worse than the 17-year-old thing. But it's like, it's so awkward and just doofy.
Why did they do it? What is the purpose of this picture?
Someone thought they were cool. This is like a famous photographer is like, you should do this, pose, and everybody will love it. And it didn't work. I mean, I loved it, but I don't think it got the right impression.
It was an audience of
The question is, what house is Jerry in? What do you guys think? Hufflepuff? I feel like this is classic Hufflepuff behavior.
He's definitely playing Hogwarts Legacy, right? For sure. Like he's
oh my god,
he's
Nando.
He's the bad guys in it. Like he's the AI that you fight.
Nando, please, if he heroically stood up to the evil, trans people who are destroying the very foundations of our society, that makes him brave, which means he must be a Gryffindor.
Oh, that's true. I was going with Hufflepuff because he's perceptive and smart. But that Gryffindor makes sense. He could also be the headmaster.
That's Ravenclaw who's smart.
Oh, right.
Hufflepuff is the one who's like, we couldn't. If you're not brave, smart, or evil, you go in Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
This is how much of an ally I am. I don't know what any of the fucking houses are, except the green one is bad, and the red one is good.
And we're gonna put Robert Pattinson in it to really like juice the profile of the house.
Oh, right. Yeah, he was in these.
He was in the fourth one. He was just in that one. Because he was Cedric Diggory, right?
He shows up as a ghost like 4 times, I feel like outside of the movie. It's like, remember that guy who died?
That was a big deal.
Never forget.
Never forget.
Well, anyway, it's canon that if he had lived, the shame of losing the Triwizard Tournament would have turned him into a Nazi, so it's for the best.
Wait, is that real?
Yeah, in the play, The Cursed Child, the little Harry Potter child goes back in time and saves Cedric Diggory's life by making him lose the tournament instead of win.
Right.
But then he gets so upset and bitter that he lost the tournament that he becomes a Death Eater, and then he kills Neville in the last book, and then the good guys lose because Cedric became a Nazi.
And
so
Joe
it's
wrote
good
this
that
one?
he's dead.
Was this written by Joe or was this written by somebody else?
It was written by somebody else based on a plot given to them by Joanne.
Okay. That feels right. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, I hope the game is great and everyone loves it that's playing it, because I'm sure it's I hear it's a 9 out of 10 if you ask me.
An IGN?
It's buggy and the enemies aren't good and it's no fun, but it is Harry Potter, so 9 out of 10. That was the review, basically. But, yeah, IGN just can't help themselves.
They really can't.
For a game being a game, you get an extra, 7 points on your score.
Yeah.
It's really just a variance. Are you getting a 7 or a 10?
To be fair, I did see some people going back and reading that guy's other reviews, and he might just be really bad at conveying how much he likes or dislikes something, because there were other reviews people found, like for Sonic Frontiers, where he spent the whole review praising it, and then at the end it was a 7 out of 10.
Huh.
That's about right for one of the single probably highest profile video game reviewing outlets. Have the main guy be a guy who just doesn't quite get the whole reviewing thing.
Do people trust IGN? Is that an outlet people are like, yeah, these guys got it?
I think no, but I think what the part that matters is I think they will make commercials for Hogwarts Legacy that will say 9.0 out of 10 and with the little IGN in small print, and people go, oh, it's good. I think that's where the pull quotes is where it's going to get actual legs.
It's so hard for me to tell what is and isn't a good mainstream gaming outlet, because if you go into criticisms of it, it's you're only ever 10 feet away from Gamergate people.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there are no legitimate criticisms, but seeing that makes me go, maybe they're good.
I mean, yeah, it's tough because, the gaming review, and gaming awards and that whole community in general isn't very good for all of the reasons that aren't Gamergate stuff. But yeah, those people hang out there. It's fine. Not fine, but it's just we all play the 2 or 3 games that we all play, and then we ignore most of them.
Yeah. I would just assume that every mainstream outlet is bad, not evil, just not good. You got to find the one that you're yes, these people, right? They're good. I don't think that I just like Zero Punctuation. That's mine. I'm oh, this guy gets it.
I only trust Hard Drive.
Good.
That's
good
one of them.
Good call.
Everything they say is true.
Yeah.
With Zero Punctuation, the thing that's helpful is if you watch a bazillion of his reviews, you know what he already hates going into it.
Yeah, it's true.
You understand via context. He's not going to like this Batman game very much, even if it's great.
Right. Yeah,
but when he says something about it, you're oh, okay, this is, that means it is good, even though he gave it a 6.
Right.
But, I feel that's where people really do, though, get this stuff is from online reviewers, YouTubers, and donkeys and girlfriend reviews and such. So I don't know. Maybe that's enough.
I will say the one thing on the flip side of just that Zero Punctuation point, what's helpful is when he's I don't like this anime crap, but you got to play Neon White. It's amazing. Then you're oh, I guess I really got to play Neon White. So sometimes it's helped to know biases.
Exactly. No, I think more people should be upfront about that. Just I don't like this game. And that is kind of what this guy in the Harry Potter review did. It's basically the first 5, because I read it, first 5 paragraphs of the review are I've always wanted to play a Harry Potter game. I love Harry Potter so much. Here's my house, and here's my favorite wand, and all this shit. So then by the time you get to all the problems, it's this is a 9 out of 10, no matter what the rest of these things are.
Yeah.
The game could have jumped out of his Xbox and cut his whole family's heads off, and he'd still probably give it an 8, because it's got Harry Potter in it. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Speaking of people getting their heads cut off, one guy gets his head cut off in this.
That does happen.
That's true.
Yeah, let's talk about the movie of the week, you guys. Plane. Not Get the Cabin Door or whatever. And not Ant-Man, because that's not out yet. But there's some reviews floating around. But no,
but we're
Plane.
not cool
a movie
or good enough to get advanced reviews.
That's right. And, we could probably take some guesses, right? What do you guys think about Ant-Man? What's your pre-review?
Okay. I have to say, what a great performance by Jonathan Majors.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think they'd be able to top Thanos this quickly, but he might be up there.
Yeah, really introducing the next, Phase 5 villain and really setting the stage for the next part of the MCU. Thought he did that really well. But at the same time, just another, derivative Ant-Man movie where it just couldn't get there fully. So it left me feeling a little hollow, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, Paul Rudd's charisma can only take these so far, and it's like the vibe with him and the daughter is good. It's weird what they did with the rest of the family.
Yeah.
They got the Quantum Convoy led by the Wasp and drove it right into Quantum City and just parked it there for a while. That was weird. But
Yeah,
otherwise, it feels like a fun movie. It's not quite a movie. It's more of a show. It's an episode of a TV show. But hey, that's what these are right now, so what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I thought the extended colonoscopy sequence was weird.
I mean, I think we will get one of those eventually. I do think, I kind of wish, because I've seen him answer the butt question a bunch, Paul Rudd, and his answer is good. It's like, he's Thanos. His butt's very strong. I do kind of want that to be in the movie, just so people stop asking him, but I don't know. Maybe eventually he'll have his brain turned.
To be
People
clear,
will,
it's
agree.
not that Ant-Man goes inside someone's butthole. It's just like before he goes and does the quantum stuff, we see him stop by, a proctologist for his annual checkup, and we just see the whole colonoscopy. It's really weird.
I mean, that's smart. He's getting up there. He's in his 50s. It's probably what you do.
Maybe the U.S. military wasn't willing to give them money for this one, so they took money from the Proctologist Association instead.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's
they're
fair.
Maybe they're saving it for the book. Maybe that's where we're gonna hear about Scott Lang's various colonoscopies.
That would be great. Oh my god, if it was just Scott Lang versus the American healthcare system and stuff. Because that was, I think, all right, so this is actually true. I think that's why he went to jail in the first movie, is because he stole some sort of information from a healthcare company and leaked it.
Okay.
And he was like a people's champion or something.
Okay.
So, yeah, it only makes more sense to do it.
Right.
What'd you guys think of all the cameos?
Bill Murray's barely trying anymore.
Yeah, he just phoned it in however he can.
Yeah, I think it was weird how in the movie he says, this is the best Ghostbusters movie that's ever been made. I hope we got a lot of money for that.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I was surprised. I mean, there's such a long lead time on these that it makes sense timeline-wise, but I can't believe they got the Queen to show up.
Yeah, I mean, she's the queen of the quantum realm, too. In quantum England is the same rules as regular England. I thought the scene where they fight quantum Prince Andrew was a little weird. But I think it makes sense given he would align with Kang, because he could turn back time. And maybe get his name out of some of those logbooks, if you know what I mean. Flight records. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like a 7 out of 10. It's a pretty solid Marvel movie people are going to have a good time with.
Yeah, I thought it was complete trash. I hated every second of it. I've never liked an Ant-Man movie. It was a 9 out of 10.
I think that's fair.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So now that we're done with Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, let's do Plane.
Plane.
They made a movie called Plane, you guys.
They did.
Yeah.
Probably because they already made a movie called The Layover, which is what this movie should be called. But hey, that's the rules.
That
They
or
can't make it again.
They already made a movie about snakes being on a plane, so they had to strip it back even further.
That's true.
Why not like The Captain? That would have been a fine title for this movie.
So here's a fun fact. This was just like a working title, and they were going to change it, but Gerard Butler was like, nah, it should be Plane.
Really? He has that much
He's
sway
right.
that he could just say what the movie's called?
I mean, I can't imagine what the other titles would even be.
I like The Captain. I think that would really convey what we're going for here.
Yeah, I don't know.
No?
That's like Plane is like fun because it is so generic. The Captain is like slightly less generic, so instead of just being like kind of silly, it's just generic.
Yeah, I think that's right. I do think Layover is a good title, though. I think we can all agree.
I mean, we've repeated movie titles before,
we have done that.
No, there's never been a movie named the same thing as another movie. Not even a remake.
Throw in an adjective, the longest layover, something like that.
Yeah, or just Layover, or The Layover, whichever one the other one is. We add or remove a the. That's acceptable. But you guys, we got to talk about Plane.
We do.
Breaking Dawn, Part 2. What do you guys think? We start with this one. Do you think we start with the IMDb summary like usual?
We could do it different. I don't know how, but I'm down for anything.
I mean, let's do it. Let's start with the IMDb summary as usual.
All
Who
right.
won last week? It was Diggins, I think.
Very
That
brave.
was me.
Yeah.
Yes, it was very brave of me to win by saying a better summary than DJ.
It was brave.
Super brave.
So I have in front of me, if you don't know, we play a little game called the IMDb, B as in spelling bee, in which my two co-hosts here have to try to guess what the IMDb summary of this movie is. Now you might be asking yourself, where do these IMDb summaries come from? Well, I'll tell you. In the distant future, all is war. Tribes of humans in a post-apocalyptic wasteland fight each other constantly over the dwindling stockpile of IMDb summaries that we have left. You know, it's the only way they have to experience movies after a solar flare destroyed all cameras. So they fight for these IMDb summaries, and then over the campfire, they tell each other the summaries to experience the stories that they no longer can see themselves. But IMDb employs time-traveling super soldier Adam Driver, who is sent to the future to capture those IMDb summaries and establish a stable time loop by bringing them back to the present and having them put into IMDb in the first place so that they can later be found by these post-apocalyptic tribes. And so I have before me here the future past summary recovered by Adam Driver for the movie Plane. And let me tell you, it's right.
Okay.
That's my son. So DJ, as last week's loser, you get to choose who gets to go first.
So I'm on a 2-week losing streak, and I think I
Can you go for 3?
I think I burned myself by going second, so I think I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Okay. Former Royal Airman Brody Torrance must save the lives of his crew and passengers when his normal New Year's Eve flight goes horribly awry.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm going to say after, how do I do this? After let's call it a midair disaster, a pilot is forced to land a plane in the middle of the jungle and protect the passengers from the local inhabitants.
Wow. Your summary makes it sound even more racist than it actually is.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what to call them because I'm like, does the movie want to say that there's people there or like what they are? Because they're like a military, right? I don't want to say that.
Like an insurgency, a militia, something like that.
Oh, militia's a good
Separatists.
one. But even that, like, you could say that, but then that gives away what they are versus like, because honestly, when the plane landed, I was like, did they go back in time? Are they going to fight fucking, like, what's here? So, you know.
I knew from marketing materials that was what happened, so I was not questioning anything at any point.
I did not see any trailers going into this. I saw that one poster of them both standing next to each other with guns, and that's it.
That's all you needed.
It was a mystery for
the
me.
Name plane. Anyway, you both did really bad.
Damn it!
No!
You told us that you didn't have any tiebreakers.
I don't. That's the problem. I mean, if I had to give it to someone, I would give it to Nando.
Oh,
that's great.
Ah.
I mean,
Because
you don't have any tiebreakers, right?
I scoured this IMDb page. There's like nothing.
Oh, man.
Can you, are there like other phrases that we missed or something in the title?
Oh, yeah, fun
Listen,
words.
I'm not trying to talk myself out of a win, but that's the only other thing I can think of that might be viable as a winner judge.
You know what?
Actually, yeah, there is a good one.
Oh,
There
okay.
is a way the movie describes the setting, like where they land,
Okay.
where most of the movie takes place.
Okay.
There's a way it describes that. If either of you can get the exact 2 words they use to describe it, then you win. I'll give you each 3 chances, starting with DJ.
All right. Terrifying jungle.
Nope,
And this ain't, I'd feel stupid if this was it and I didn't say it. Desert Island?
it's not a desert at all, and no.
I know, but like sometimes that's how you describe these things, like, or deserted, I guess, but like,
Well, it's not deserted. There's quite a few people there.
I know, and that's why, again, I'm thinking the title might lie to us. Is this accurate, would you say, Diggins?
More or less.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to say hostile environment.
Closer, but no.
Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna say Dangerous Island.
Nope. It's your last ones. Use them wisely.
I mean, there's no way I'm getting this.
It's not like a weird phrase.
Gosh, like, oh god, this is so hard. Like, I'm just gonna go super basic. Dangerous Land.
Nope.
All right, so I'm gonna say I want to stick with jungle, or I want to stick with island, but maybe I shouldn't. You know what? It could be. How about Mysterious Island?
If only. No.
Right.
So, guys, the words I was looking for were Warzone.
Oh,
Well, that's one word.
It's not.
yeah, that's one word.
It's not, is the thing. It's 2 words.
Is it?
Yeah.
But like, I thought Call of Duty
not always,
Warzone
but in
was
this
like one
situation
word.
it
Yeah,
is.
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it has become a contraction in our modern days, but I guess you could say it as a
I'll tell you, in this summary, it's 2 words.
Insane.
Interesting.
I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming the summary, as I always do. I don't know. If you think Nando won, he won. Like, you know.
Listen,
All right.
I'll take the win since we couldn't get any tiebreakers out.
I'll give it to Nando for reasons I will describe right after I finish reading this summary.
All right.
Okay.
A pilot finds himself caught in a war zone after he's forced to land his commercial aircraft during a terrible storm.
They don't even use the word plane?
Crazy.
Don't even bother IMDb, whatever it was, Adam Driver. You messed it up. You did a bad job.
Yeah.
Now
agreed.
you both did great in not mentioning the second main character at all.
Oh, yeah.
Well, very important. There was no way he was being mentioned.
But I gave it to Nando because he did say forced to land,
Okay.
and he didn't name anybody, unlike
That's right,
DJ
because
who
I
said
forgot all
Brody
their
Torres.
names.
We need to change the rules that, like, if you add more information, you get penalized. I think that's just like a crazy rule we have.
Oh, I think there's something to being like not getting the whole thing, but getting the vibe of like it's a short one. So that's something you can
I
guess.
mean, like, I would, if you had also said a couple things, I wouldn't penalize you for saying other things that were wrong. The thing is, like, you got nothing, and Nando got like a 20th of it.
Man, this is a cold streak I'm going on. This is like, oof.
That's what I'd love to see.
I don't like
is a
it.
Win.
I don't like it. I think there's some cahoots going on. I think now I'm shifting to complaining. Diggins is hurt. Can we trust his judgment? He's so sick.
I am extremely ill, but that just means my judgment is more valid.
That's true. He sweated out all the toxins in him, and he's a good
Oh,
man.
I've
No
lost a
more
lot
evil
more than
humors.
just toxins.
Yeah, that's where all the lies are stored, and he doesn't even have any of them. So even if
Nando,
I tried to coordinate, it wouldn't work.
as our race to the bottom winner,
love it.
do you want to tell all the fine people what you
I've-
thought about the movie Plane? DJ,
I've
you have
just-
something
Don't forget.
to say?
I have to
DJ's
describe this
punishments.
stupid ass movie.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's
yeah,
how things
tell the
work
people
now.
what happens in Plane while I get a soda.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right, guys. So this movie's Plane. So Gerard Butler is a pilot, and as I mentioned in my summary, I thought it might be important, but he's a former Royal Airman. Because it would be insane for him to do the things he does in this movie if he was just a pilot. So,
But DJ, he was just like a cargo flyer for the Royal Air Force. It's not like he saw combat.
well, insane to believe if you ask me, given some of the feats he's performing. But sure. So Gerard Butler, he's a pilot, and he's flying a plane on New Year's Eve. A very small flight, because it's New Year's Eve, not a lot of people flying. It's a real who's who. You got couple, you got angry guy, second angry guy, but importantly, there's a special passenger on this plane.
DJ, let's not forget the plethora of surrogate daughters.
Yeah, oh my god.
You can take your pick.
So yeah, he's got a lot of people that got to make sure they get home safely, and he's also got to see his daughter, who's like, "Dad, you better come home on time," and so because maybe that's important. Anyway, but there's also a special passenger on this plane. There's a guy so they're flying from Singapore. He's being extradited from Singapore for he was convicted on murder charges. And Gerard Butler's like, can this guy not be on this plane? And the guy, whoever's with him, there doesn't matter, is like, no, he has to fly on this plane. No choices. He must fly on this plane. So Gerard Butler's like, okay, I guess he flies on this plane. So there's a storm as the summary provides, and I do feel silly for missing that. And the guy from the airlines, like, talking to him, and he's like, hey, you gotta go through this storm because that's the regulation because of, like, fuel or whatever. And Gerard Butler's like, can we please go around it? He's like, no, I don't care. You have to fly through this dangerous storm. Just fly over it. It's fine. So, of course, during the flight, everything's not fine. The storm fucks it up. Lightning hits the plane, and they have to make an emergency landing in a, I guess, war zone. So they land on, like...
war zone.
A war
You
zone.
put the space in there.
Very, very important. So he lands on an island in the Philippines. I can't remember which one, but the important thing, it's like there's no laws here. It's a lawless land where it's just separatists and, you know, mercenaries, and the Philippine government won't even interfere. That's how dangerous this place is.
It's called Jolo in the Sulu Sea. He says it only 50 times.
All right, man. Well, it was hard. All right, there's a lot going on. So anyway, meanwhile, you know, the airline's like trying to rescue them. There's like a whole subplot where the airline's trying to intervene, and it like kind of matters, but also doesn't matter. Basically, the important thing is
how dare you?
Come on, man.
That's the best part of the whole movie.
I can't believe you're impugning the honor of Scarsdale.
But
Scarsdale,
listen.
Oh, he's good.
Hear me
he's
out.
Good.
It doesn't seem like the movie cares, because again, the only important thing that is like important for you listeners to know if you haven't seen Plane is like they send mercenaries to go rescue the captain and the crew, and it's like no expense will be spared. So they hire like half a dozen mercenaries to go like rescue these guys. Because they have to, like, whatever. So then, you know, it's really tense. The passenger's like, oh my God, what's going on? And Gerard Butler's like, stay calm. We're going to figure this out. So he takes the prisoner man, because he like figures out that the prisoner guy was like good by ruffling through his bags or whatever. So he's like, you know what, this prisoner, maybe he's not such a bad guy. Maybe he's totally okay.
It's actually not entirely clear to me why he decides that, because all he finds is like some keys, a bottle of water, and a knife.
And the knife has like a symbol on it. Is that the French Foreign Legion symbol, maybe? Because I don't know what that is.
It is the French Foreign Legion symbol. I guess maybe he was like, well, he served in the military, or in a military, so maybe he'll be helpful.
So he's a good person.
He's a good military boy like me.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's probably what the thought process is supposed to be.
I think that's it.
They don't explain it, though, so you just have to use your imagination. So they go, and they, you know, Gerard Butler gets to a tussle, and we get to see that he learns how to beat people up, which I guess you're already supposed to assume because, you know, he was in the Air Force or Royal
Again, as like a cargo pilot.
Well, he beats guys up real good. We get to see him beat up some
that
people.
one guy on TV that one time.
Yeah, in a thing.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I was like, oh, is this telling us something important about his character? And the answer is no.
Not even a little. Yep.
Yeah, we get to see a little like iPad footage. It's like, who's the pilot? And it's like Gerard Butler like choking a guy. He was choking a mean guy out on a plane, and the one guy's like, oh no, and the other guy's like, oh yes, my hero.
And to be fair to Gerard Butler, he was choking this guy out after this dude like smashed him in the face full on.
Yeah.
He really
like,
did.
Clearly ready to throw down even more. So it's not like he did it for no reason.
Yeah, he was provoked.
I can't see a version of this in the real life where he's not like a hero pilot.
Right?
Like, you know, if it was like a woman or something that he hit, you'd be like, oh yeah, I get it. He's, you know, that's bad. But like an unruly big old guy?
Yeah,
whatever.
Remember a year or two ago when like stewardesses or whatever were like duct taping people to their seat?
Yeah.
Because they were being so unruly? I don't think anyone ever got in trouble for that.
Right?
Yeah, it is true. Like, when you're flying, it's like you have to do what they say or, you know, suffer the consequences. That's like the rules.
Yeah.
I mean, I would understand it if they said something like, yeah, that guy like got really hurt from that and he sued the airline or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I have, when we get to my thoughts on the movie, I have some things to say along these lines, but I'll just let you continue with the summary.
Right. So, anyway, essentially the point we get to is that Gerard Butler and Prisoner, and I can't remember this guy's name. I'm so sorry. It's just like easier.
Luke Cage.
Right,
Sorry, what did you say?
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage, a man who is in jail for reasons that are unacceptable because he has a heart of gold. Luke Cage.
So yeah, I guess we can go with Luke Cage, or Gaspar, whatever.
And he'll
So-
never say the N-word.
So,
Never. He would. Yeah.
so he and Gerard Butler are like, oh no, these people are murderers, and they find like a little setup where like they take people's passports and they film them for like ransom, and it seems like they just wind up killing these people. So it's like our passengers aren't safe. So lo and behold, while they're gone, the passengers where they are, the separatists. I'm just going to refer to them as the separatists because that's like the least offensive way for me to do this. The separatists find the passengers, kidnap them, and take them to like a holding cell in their city. So at some point, okay. So meanwhile, there's like so much going on. This movie's nonsense. Also, Gerard Butler was able to convey via his like daughter to the airline where like the people are able to figure out exactly where the plane is landed. So that's how they know where to send the mercenaries to in our little like subplot where the airline is trying to be heroes. So they send the mercenaries off, and then Luke Cage and Gerard Butler are like, okay, we have to do a Metal Gear to save these passengers. Where we're gonna go into the city, we're gonna break the people out, and then we're gonna flee. And it like more or less basically works. Like. Here, like, again, for the purposes of this, like, insane movie summary, they get the people out of the prison camp. The mercenaries help. And it turns out that their only recourse, because the Philippine government won't come to intervene for 24 hours, they have to fly the super beat-up plane out of there in order to, like, not get taken out by the separatists. So there's, like, a really long fight with like the next half hour of the movie is like pow pow, shoot pow pow, RPG explosion, and Gerard Butler, because he's a hero, he is able to like get everyone in that plane, and he's like dodging guys, and Luke Cage, the mercenaries, are just like taking out the separatists, and it's all a big action scene. And then Gerard Butler, because he's a hero pilot, he's able to fly the plane up, and he's in contact with the airline, and he manages to get it unsurprisingly, I guess we're supposed to think, to another part of the Philippines that is friendly and wherein everyone is saved. Also, some passengers like did die along the way, and there's some other details.
Only the marshal, the marshal and one of the stewardesses die in the crash.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
And then two tourists are killed by the separatists.
Yes,
but
right.
They're not white, so it's fine.
Right, exactly.
That's right.
Also, don't run from the separatists anyway. But yeah, that's like more or less the movie. Did I leave anything huge out, guys? I hope that wasn't confusing to everyone who was listening.
No, yeah, I think that's it.
It's more or less it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty. It is. Those are all the things that happen in this movie. It ain't reinventing the wheel or anything like that. It is doing exactly what
it ain't reinventing the landing gear.
Oh yeah, it should reinvent that.
There's so many minute details that like we'll talk about, but in terms of the series of events, this is basically like what you need to know to hopefully kind of get an idea what's going on, which is like more or less the purpose of this segment. So
it's as straightforward as you'd expect a movie called Plane to be.
Fair, honestly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now Nando, the glorious winner, gets to tell us what he thought of Plane.
Yeah, it's a Gerard Butler movie. That it's like all those movies. It's like if you stripped one of these Gerard Butler movies down to its smallest components, like its most basic things.
To the atomic level, just
yeah,
what
this is
it's
the
made
platonic ideal of Gerard Butler movie, where like stuff happens, bang bang bang, shoot shoot shoot, like men are strong and dads obviously. And you know, there's redemption kind of, and it's excitement, and yeah, there's guys that are bad, and some of them get punished, and some don't. There's Plane. Like, again, it is like, they almost could have called it Vehicle, and that would be the only way you could make this a more generic Gerard Butler vehicle, because it is just for him to do his whole thing, and Luke Cage is there too, obviously, like we said. All that being said, I didn't really hate it. I think it's just kind of boring, but I think, not like boring, but it is what it is. I think he's pretty good in it. And I enjoy watching him in these, and I think he did about as well as he could have with this, and because of that, I didn't like this movie, but I think I would have liked it less if it was somebody else. And it does have a plane, and it does all kinds of great plane stuff. And that's all I got. It is a movie.
Last I checked.
Yeah, who's next?
I believe I'm
DJ.
next.
All right, DJ, what did you think?
All right, so I think my assessment is very similar to Nando. So, like, here's my thing. I think we said this before we hit record, but it's like Gerard Butler's, like, good for one of these, like, every 2 or so years. Like, you'll get one of these, like, what I would call rather safe action movies from Gerard Butler. And, like, this is, like, with this script and... Like, if I juxtapose this to, like, when we did Money Plane, and, like, you just have Edge sitting in the cockpit, and I'm like, just gouge my eyes out. This is so uninteresting. But, like, Gerard Butler somehow does make, like, intensity in the cockpit interesting. And it's like, yeah, because he's, like, good at this. He's good at, like, conveying, like, there's action, there's danger, there's stakes, I'm a father. And as a captain, there is... There is nothing, you hear me, nothing more important than the safety of my fucking passengers. Like, I get that from him, and, like, I refuse to hate this movie. There are lizard parts of my brain when they're doing, like, the bang bang shoot scene, when, like, the one mercenary he's just, like, slowing down, and he's taking, like, a 50 caliber to these poor locals, and I'm just like, fucking sick, dude. And, like, rationally I'm like, that's not, like, clever or, like, you know, interesting or anything, but I'm like, yeah, he used a 50 caliber to shoot a guy through a car that he was using for cover. I love that, dude. So it reaches me on some level, and I'm slightly ashamed of it, but I also enjoy it. So, you know, what am I to do? So, I have very many feelings about this, but, like, all right, so, how do I accurately say this? It's a movie that I think has very few highs, some lows, and a lot of mids. So 9 out of 10?
Yeah, I think that's right. Well, I think the difference is between maybe the way me and Diggins will perceive this movie is DJ, as a father, you can relate to Gerard Butler in a very visceral way that we just can't.
It's why I like Top Gun Maverick. It's the best movie.
Exactly.
Makes sense. And why you love Last of Us so much.
And why, there's nothing better. Season 3 of The Mandalorian will probably make me cry. I've never watched the show under, the umbrella of being a father.
That's right. So then, Diggins, did you have thoughts?
So there's been a trend in cinema over the past few decades, really, towards naturalism, towards trying to make things seem more real. And there's a lot of things that works for, but I think I'm starting to realize that it really makes action movies a lot harder for me to like, personally, because they're trying to present themselves as being more grounded or, like, serious or real. And the thing about action movies like this is that they're fundamentally ridiculous. They're just very silly premises, and for me, those work better when you lean into that silliness and you kind of allow it to be sort of over the top and cornball. And, like, that's what makes it fun for me. So, like, when we have these modern ones, these Gerard Butler vehicles where he just looks grimly at a camera and is like, I'm almost got men and I've got to save me passengers. And it's just, that's the whole movie. It's hard for it to hold my interest. It also feels like, I feel like there's a version of this movie made in the 80s that they like just filed away all of the conflict from.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this is a very generic movie. This is basically Con Air. In fact, I'm going to make that exact comparison. The difference between this movie and Con Air is Con Air understands that things are interesting when there is multiple conflicts going on. So, for example, the John Cusack lawman and Nick Cage felon, like, they do work together and they trust each other by the end, but, like, that's a process. That's, like, a thing that they have to come to when they realize that, you know, they both want the same things and they start working together. In this movie, like we said, Gerard Butler just looks at a knife with the French Foreign Legion symbol on it, decides he trusts Gaspar, and then Gaspar, like, abandons him for a second, but it turns out he only did that so he could go do a Metal Gear Solid level and come back with guns. And, like, he's actually just a super good dude who likes and helps the captain for the whole movie with no ulterior motives whatsoever. And it's like, well, that's boring is the thing. Like, this is a movie that begs to be like them being forced to work together because the situation is so hostile and dangerous, where the convict is like, the only way out of here alive is through those insurgents, so I'm gonna help you, but I don't like it. And then they like save each other's lives or whatever, and they start to like each other. And then by the end, there's that bond of trust where this convict is like, I'm going to escape, and Gerard Butler's like, you know what? You go for it. Or something like that. Or like the people in the Scarsdale and the rest of them. In the Con Air version of this movie, they're like not helpful. They only care about the PR.
Yeah.
Or like they're trying to do things in a way where it's like, oh man, well, we just got to write this off for the insurance so nobody can come back, or something stupid like that, where they just like don't care about the people getting back alive, except for the one person in the room who's like, we gotta save them, and like goes behind his superior's back to give the crucial help to Gerard Butler at the last minute. Or like the mercenaries they would send would turn out to like have ties to the militia, and actually they're against us, and now it's all just the plain people against the militia and the mercenaries. Or like something. There would be something that makes the movie like rise in tension and stakes. And instead, everything is just flat the whole time. Everyone who's good is good. Everyone who's bad is bad. And there's like nothing else to it. And I just prefer that 80s version of this movie. Maybe that's just me. If you're a dad who likes to sit down and watch Gerard Butler knock out a movie in his sleep, like, yeah, this isn't a bad one of those. It's not a bad movie at all, by any means. It's just like, for me, it's the least interesting version of this kind of movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Weird.
Diggins.
You get to the end of it and you're like, wait a second, nothing happened. Like, a couple of people died, but like Gerard Butler, everybody's the same. I guess one of them's gone. The guest star is free now. But like, is he? But maybe, who knows? But yeah, it's pretty weird that they did that. Because usually these do have that, you know? Like, usually there is a daughter who doesn't like him or something, you know?
Yeah, even his relationship with his daughter is just like, she's like, I love you, Dad, and you're the best dad ever, and I can't wait to see you. And I'm like, in the 80s version of this movie, it would be like, this is your last chance to save your relationship with your daughter. You're on thin ice, Buster.
Yeah, and like, yeah, it's pretty weird, because in the beginning you do get the daughter stuff. You know, you get like some other little character things where like the other pilot has a family too, and you're like, where's this going? And it's just it's all just red herrings, but the real answer is nothing. Like, there's no conflict. So I guess that's good. I don't know. It's pretty weird though that they made this movie at all.
Yeah. That being said, I actually agree with DJ that the plane crash scene is really good.
Yeah, that part is good.
I think they did a really great job of shooting that in a way where you do feel the tension of it. And it's like, if this movie was a plane crash thriller and nothing else, I think it would be pretty good.
Yeah.
There's something to, like, Diggins, I think you hit, like, all of the points where the movie fails and could be interesting but isn't. Then, like, it's a shame that the writers had enough sense to put those elements in the movie, but they couldn't like have the act, like not like the actors acting, like literally the actors, like the players, those characters do the things that they would need to do to elevate the movie, which is probably disagree more. But like, they wanted to just put more time with like Metal Gear stuff and bang bang shooty shoots, that we weren't going to get the interesting conflict that this movie should have had in it.
I mean, you say that, DJ. There's not that much bang bang shooty shoots in this movie.
It's all at the end. They all backload it. You know, there's like, we got this like one big fight scene, and that's what it's going to be. Also, we need more of like Gerard Butler, just like random acts of heroism. Like, for some reason, like his biggest conflict has to be with like the airline customer service operator person, which we'll talk about. But like, for some reason, that's a core conflict. And it's like, how's he gonna get out of this one? And it's like pretty easily, but you know, we'll still hold out some stuff for you there. So it's like weird stuff like that that's in the movie in lieu of like interesting stuff that would have been more fun to like watch and experience as a viewer and build out the characters more, which they could have done.
Yeah. Do you think Jerry Butler has crossed into the Rock category, where like he takes the script and crosses out all of his characters' flaws and then hands it back to the director and says, this one's better? Like, because there's a movie where like he hates the criminal, like the prisoner. He's just like, fuck that guy. I hope he dies in the plane crash. And then he has to work with him, but that doesn't happen. And, like, yeah, you keep wondering, like, what is this guy gonna do? Like, where's this? And I'm trying to think, because I've watched the Has Fallen movies, or, like, one of them. I saw that movie Greenland not too long ago, which is also, like, technically pretty proficient, but not that interesting in terms of, like, what his deal is. And I wonder if he is just at that level where, yeah, he only takes movies where his character is good and nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of action stars are so image conscious these days, I think to the detriment of the movies they make. Which you can read my thoughts about that if you subscribe to Emily St. James's newsletter. And I wrote an article about John Cena and how he doesn't do that.
Yeah, it's tough because, like, I don't know. I I wish it was interesting because then it would be good. But instead, it's not interesting.
It would be Con Air, which is a great movie.
Yeah.
You don't even have Gerard Butler's character. Like, he could not have any flaws. Like, just give other people flaws, too. Right? Like, there's the one airplane guy who, what are you, a fucking meteorologist? Is like, he has flaws. The customer service operator has flaws. Some of the passengers have flaws. But, like, just give more people flaws to create more conflict. Like, why aren't the mercenaries in the entire airline just corrupt as shit? Like, that's a movie. Like, to what you were saying, Diggins. We'll just write it off for the insurance money. Who cares? It's 16 people and a drunken pilot who gets in fights. Come on.
Or even just like the Gaspar, the prisoner, have him be more like, he wants to get out of here. He's not about this. Like, I don't give a shit about these people. They think I'm just some prisoner. And then, like, that's the conflict where the two of them have to learn to work together because it's the only way they're both getting out of there.
Yeah.
Right. Or have the people on the plane have to learn to trust Gaspar. Because they instinctually hate him. And, like, I mean, he hates them too, but for reasons that are fair. To try to film him. But, like, in that bit, it's like, oh, okay, so this is going to be part of it. They're going to have to trust him. But now they don't. He leaves for most of it. I don't think they even know he came back. I don't think they ever see him again.
Yeah, right?
No, he sees them. They see him when he comes to rescue, when the two of them come to rescue them.
That's true, yeah, he is there for that.
But yeah, like, at that point, it's just like, oh, these guys are saving our lives? Like, yeah, cool, whatever. Like, there's no worry about that situation whatsoever on the passenger side.
Yeah. And then on the other side of it, the villains are insane.
Yeah.
It is an insane choice for these villains.
That's the thing. The villains are still from an 80s movie. It's just no one else is.
Now, I have to ask, I'm going to feel real stupid. Is this island real?
I mean,
Jolo
I don't know.
Is a real island that really does have a problem with separatists that do kidnap foreigners with some regularity.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
just don't even
I was
Google it
all ready
before
to
they
be
go.
like, this movie hates the Philippines, but then I checked it and I was like, this is all kind of true, so I'll have to give the movie points for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that they're as insane or
they're like
scary foreigner as the people in this movie, but the broad strokes of it are more or less true.
If Gerard Butler starts doing a Gerard Butler, they probably yield immediately. They're like, oh no, it's not worth it. Yeah, go. Get out of here. This is not... We're not this high stakes.
I should say, there are also, like, resorts and major cities on that island. It's not all, like, jungle and separatists. So there are places they could have gone.
Is this gonna be like another movie where at the very end they just like turn around a corner and it's a Sands like just resort?
It could have been. They could have had that happen.
Yeah, that would have been funny. Maybe that's where what's his name spends all that money. Maybe he opens one up. I mean, $500,000 is a lot, but it's not open a whole hotel in the Philippines. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway, you guys, speaking of things, we have a wheel.
Yeah, we do.
A wheel of things about the movie. We've already touched on some of them, but we're going to go through them all. It's going to be fantastic. You guys excited for the wheel?
I am.
I've never been more excited.
All right. I'm going to spin the wheel. Tick, tick, tick. It landed on, I can't remember whose. I didn't write down whose these are, so they're all of ours. Someone wrote, time to dad 1 minute.
That's me.
That's Diggins.
Yeah, I timed it, including like title sequence and stuff. It is almost exactly 1 minute before we find out the main character is a dad.
Nice.
Too long, if you ask me.
Yeah. I want to know immediately that he's a fucking dad.
It's just the first thing he does is do a FaceTime with his daughter where he's like, the big New Year's thing that we're doing together, I'm going to be there soon. We're going to have a good family time together. And I'm like, at this point, I would love to see an action movie where the star is neither a father nor a surrogate father.
But then how do I care?
Yeah.
I would
This movie is
love
for
to
the
see an
dads.
action star who sees people in danger and is like, I should save them because it's the right thing to do, and not, I should save them because they are like a family, and I have a family, and family is the thing that I care about.
Yeah, I wonder if Fast and Furious broke all of our brains, or like broke the brains of all the producers, and that's just what we get from now on. Fast and Furious is.
I mean, I get why it happens. It's like a shorthand, you know? It's like this person has a child that they want to see, and that gives them the heroic resolve they need to be big hero man. And that's just like a very legible thing that everyone understands. But honestly, this movie's not that bad about it. It's just there are some movies where it goes full Inception, like the whole universe will be destroyed, including my son. Like the only possible way you have of caring about things is through the lens of you having a child.
Yeah, I wonder why is that? Just because they're lazy, you think?
I think it's a lot of audience members can relate. I guess they think it plays.
Yeah, maybe there's something with parents where so there's people that are parents and people that are not parents. The are not parents will accept a movie like this because they go, dads, whatever.
Yeah.
But the are parents will not accept a movie that's the opposite of this.
Right.
They will just sit there shaking their heads like, why doesn't he have a kid? And they'll just, I hope they all die because of his problem that he caused for himself. Maybe that's what it is. And the Hollywood's like, I guess we got to do it. I guess they'll got to be dads. I don't know.
No
It's
other
like,
option.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, it's you gotta please some people.
Have you found it harder to relate to Nando and I as full people since you became a dad?
Yeah, like honestly, I think you guys are just like, you know, less than human for not having, you know, kids, and honestly, it makes me just care about you two way less because you're not parents.
That makes sense.
And we're podcasters.
Yeah, we're the
So, like,
lowest
that's
form of human.
Yeah, that's the worst kind of person. Yeah, I don't know. Certainly is weird.
Yeah, I don't even agree that like, you know, you have to like make him a parent, but like again, I understand why it's done.
Yeah,
I'm glad that it's like timeable in like hey, watch this movie for 60 seconds and you figure out dad.
yeah.
Also,
Which
multiple
is special
dads.
feeling.
Which
His
is also-
co-pilot's a dad, right?
Yep.
Dad's on dads.
I was shocked that at no point do we learn that Gaspar is a dad.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be part of the why he didn't like being filmed. It's like, I don't want my daughter to see this, or like something like that. Like I thought that would have been the direction, or I don't know, just like something of that like feel.
Maybe it was, but then they had to cut one of the dads for some reason. They were like, we got too many dads in this movie. Because there are probably some other dads, too, we don't even know about, you know?
It's true.
One of those guys in the boardroom was probably a dad.
Oh, can you imagine? I'm missing my kids' New Year's breakfast for this.
Yeah.
Well, Scarsdale did say, if you have New Year's plans, I'm canceling them.
Yeah.
I just
Even
canceled
my
them.
New Year's
Like
plans.
he already did it.
Yeah.
Like I called all your husbands and wives and said, and sons and daughters, and we're like,
And mistresses and mastresses.
And friends. I guess friends, too. Call them all. That was the first 20 minutes of protection, like saving them. That's why it took so long to get the guys to parachute in. Just busy fixing all the Facebook events and stuff.
Yeah, really, Scarsdale should get his priorities in order. He could have been there a lot sooner if he wasn't going around canceling everyone's plans. They could do that themselves.
so wait,
Yeah.
that was Scarsdale. I almost said Skarsgård, but not the Skarsgård.
No.
Scarsdale. Who was
Scarsdale
the
is not played by a Skarsgård.
right?
No, he's not.
Who was the other guy? The
other character?
CEO man.
the bald guy. He was like a
suit?
person.
Oh, yeah, he's from stuff. I don't remember.
Okay.
I think his name is, if I'm looking at this IMDb cast list right, I think he's Terry Hampton.
It's a fun name.
I like it.
Yeah.
He's in things.
Yes, he is in. Terry Hampton is played by Paul Ben Victor. Is in things like The Wire and The Irishman and True Detective and
You know him. You know him.
yeah, but I'm trying to think of what I know him from because I don't I feel like maybe I remember him from True Detective. I feel like I know him from something else though, something more recently. Because yeah, he is in a bunch of stuff. One of those guys. Yep, and he's in this.
That's true. I saw him with my very own eyes.
Anyway,
got
Nando,
him.
you probably recognize him from FDR, American Badass. He played Mussolini.
I heard about that. I missed that one. Although now I want to kind of see what it is. I guess he's on one episode of Children's Hospital, but I don't know which one.
He's Spiros in The Wire. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
he's in 7 episodes of Entourage. It's probably that, honestly.
Yeah.
oh,
That's Nando's frame of
Alan-
reference for everything.
It always comes up. I'm just gonna Google what his guy is. I think he's another executive. Yeah, he is. He's the head of Warner Brothers, who doesn't want to produce Aquaman starring Vinny Chase, baby. But yeah, FDR American Badass looks pretty good, except it's bad. But it looks like a fake movie from 30 Rock, which is what the world is.
Yeah, the world is a lot of fake stuff from 30 Rock now.
Yeah, we'll
it's
get
true.
Speaking of which, DJ, I'm waiting for that update on MILF Manor.
I can give it to
will
you,
not
'cause I
watch
watched
it. I will not watch it.
I have seen it. We'll talk about it during Rex. I spun the wheel again, you guys. It landed on incredibly tragic backstory.
Yes, this
It's not
is
really that tragic, is it?
This one was fine. Well, yeah. So we get our big lowdown on the pilot when they're getting ready to take off for the normal flight. Everything's gonna be totally fine. We have the co-pilot. Do you guys remember Benji? Was Benji the co-pilot's name?
Sounds right.
No.
What was his name?
His name was Samuel Dele.
Oh, I thought it was like, all right, Benji, let's get ready to fly off into the sunset. I don't know why I thought it was Benji.
Might have been Benji in your version.
Yeah, maybe this is another KFC Burger King
Yeah.
situation.
So, all right. So, whatever. His co-pilot, he's like, oh, that's your daughter. Is she with her mom? And it's like, her mom passed away. And he's like, I'm sorry. That must be really
I
hard.
forgot about that.
I don't know why that had to happen with Gerard Butler. Why he had to have a dead wife also.
I thought it was really weird when the co-pilot then asked, what'd she die of? And Gerard Butler said ligma.
Oh my god.
You monster. I kind of was hoping Mike Coulter killed her. I didn't know how that would happen. The odds would not make any sense.
I mean,
yeah.
He is explicitly said he went to jail 15 years, or he did his crime 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So that would have
My
been...
daughter looks like she could be around, like she could be over 15. So
Yeah, but he specifically
tracks.
says his wife died 3 years ago.
maybe he escaped from jail.
B.
Made his way all the way to Singapore, and that's why he's back in cuffs.
Wait, so you're saying he killed someone after his first murder?
Did his first murder.
Double murder.
Broke out around the time of the next one. Killed the wife. Fled to Singapore. Got caught. Now he's on a plane.
Makes sense.
That's what happened.
Also, so we learned the co-pilot also has like a wife and kids. I was convinced he was going to die. I cannot believe he made it out of the movie alive.
Well, DJ, he was our main method of getting that sweet, sweet Chinese box office.
I wasn't.
But they couldn't
convinced he
kill him?
wasn't-
He has to like live?
Yeah.
I mean, I
he
guess.
did live. Because that would have upset the dads. If one of the dads died, that would have been a bad thing.
That's true.
And then their enjoyment of the movie would have been cut dramatically by 50%.
Yeah.
Half of them would just stand up and walk out of the theater.
That's a good point.
No, thank you. I was suspicious of someone on the plane because I didn't know why the plane was going to go down. I assumed this was a snakes on the plane situation where the plane was full of villains.
Snakes.
Yeah. And the way that he was introduced, I was like, oh, it's got to be him, right? Pilot doesn't know him. It's not Gerard Butler, and all the rest of these people just look like random nerds.
Right.
But then he wasn't. He was just there.
I was a little worried. There's like a man who looks vaguely Middle Eastern, who they have like a sinister shot of at one point, looking back at the federal marshal or whatever. And I was like, "Is this what we're doing?" But it's not actually.
Yep.
That guy doesn't matter at all.
That's a pretty reasonable thing to say about almost like every character in this movie. None of them matter. This could be a plane with 3 people on it: the pilot, Mike Coulter, and one other person. Same movie.
Yeah, basically.
It's fine. Like, they just have to save that one other person.
Let's cut out the middleman. It's his daughter. His daughter's the one other person on the plane that he has to go save.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. She surprised him by coming on this plane at the last minute. Just like in the cargo hold, like Speed Racer. Like, he didn't even know she was there. I spun the wheel again, you guys. It landed on one of DJ's and Diggins's that I'm not going to attempt to pronounce, but you guys could go for it.
All right, you want me to take this one, Diggins?
This is yours. I just punched it up. This is your wheel slice, so I think you should do it.
All right, thank you. All right, everybody. But, Mom, it's just me plane.
So, what's that from?
That's from Brave.
Your favorite Pixar movie.
Favorite Pixar movie. Where the daughter has, like, the line that's, like, in that super, super Scottish accent. But, Mom, it's just my beau.
It's
and,
kind of
like,
become a minor meme on the internet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I missed that one.
So, and the other reason why I bring it up is so, like, I know Gerard Butler is Scottish, but, like, when I'm watching his movies, I've been conditioned to the point where I don't expect, like, a Scottish accent to come out. Like, is this a blind spot I have where he's actually, like, most of the time doing a Scottish accent, but, like, I'm just missing it? Because, like...
is he doing one in Phantom of the Opera?
No.
No.
Well, it's because he doesn't...
We've exhausted my knowledge of Gerard Butler. Oh, wait,
Well,
no,
it's 'cause,
300.
Like,
Yeah.
in 300, he does his Scottish accent a little bit less, and it sounds like breathy, English accent.
exactly,
Would get in a
exactly.
movie like that. So
Like-
period pieces, he does that.
And-
Action movies, he can kind of pass for American. He's American, more American than he is in this.
Yes, exactly.
In the Has Fallen movies.
In this movie, he is just Gerard Butler, and I was not ready for it. Because typically he's a little less Gerard Butler in terms of, like, what he sounds like. Like, this guy who whatever is it, Torrance, he's just doing the interview circuit, like, for Plane, right? That's what he's doing. There's no hiding it, no masking it. He's just... And he even throws in a line where, I think the one guy goes, "Oh, you're English?" He's like, "No, Scottish."
He does say that, yeah.
Like, so just, like, really, really leaning into it, like, which is fine. It just caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for it.
I think I've watched enough of his movies that I think he has lent into it. I do think in Greenland he's equally Scottish.
Okay. I haven't seen it.
And, like, I've seen a lot of Gerard Butler movies now that I think about it. He was in that movie where him and Katherine Heigl just couldn't get along. He was in that... Was he in Gamer? Is he the main guy in Gamer? I think so.
I'm not sure.
So he's in that. Everybody loves that. The Bounty Hunter. Yep, he's in that. Yeah, and I think he's like not British, but like, I mean, How to Train Your Dragon. He's pretty Scottish in that.
Well, I'm not seeing him, right? Like that.
Sure.
That's just
I mean,
If
we
I
all
can't
watched
see an actor,
Geostorm. What
they're
was
not real.
There's
What was
no
he in
way he's that
Geostorm?
Scottish in Geostorm. There's no way. I would have remembered.
I think he might have been because it was like a multinational, like United Nations kind of thing up there in the sky in the Geostorm.
I
don't know, I'm
think
gonna Google it.
I think you had it right, Nando, where it's the more like breathy, like oh, maybe it's English, maybe it's American, like whatever, but like it's something besides the I am gonna get this plane off the ground. Like, I can't even do it. Like, if there was a chance that this plane wouldn't fly, I wouldn't fly it. I'll get on the plane. Like,
Arnold Schwarzenegger. When did you get
I can't do Gerard Butler. It's apparently a giant blind spot for me. I can't do it.
Arnold, is Gerard Butler our new you? It seems like he could fill that void.
Get to the chopper now.
I think that's a great point, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think you could do Plane, but Gerard Butler couldn't do Predator.
Now, down, get down.
I'm watching the Geostorm trailer. Sorry, Arnold. I didn't want to, but I'm just trying to find him speak one line, and I don't think he speaks in the whole first Geostorm trailer. So that's not helpful, is it? Maybe I should have seen.
It's not helpful.
Arnold, I want to say, by the way, I love you in True Lies. I think you're great. I think it's great that you had a whole decade of movies where you pretended not to be Arnold Schwarzenegger and everybody went with it. That was great, you know? You just pretended to be... Like, you played movies where, like, Tom Arnold would be the main character, but it was you, and nobody ever mentioned it. That was
I
great.
know you might find this surprising, but I actually listen to the podcast on a weekly basis, and I know you're a fan of True Lies, so that's why I came on the podcast.
Love True Lies, love Jingle All the Way, love Kindergarten Cop, all of them.
What was it like to work with James Cameron, Arnold?
Get down! Amazing! We loved it!
Did you drown, or were you one of the ones that survived one of his shoots?
I survived because of my incredible lung capacity.
That's incredible. Yeah, that's true. You would have pretty strong lungs. I swear to God, I cannot find a clip of him speaking in this whole movie. Gerard Butler, are you even in it? Like, did I forget?
They actually just CGI'd him in. That's the thing.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, and good for him if he managed to get a nice big payday out of this Moonfall, but done slightly better. I'm going to hold on. I got one clip. Yeah, he's kind of American in this. Damn it. Yeah, he's very American in this.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is like the first time where he just is just like, I think, full Scottish. I really feel that way.
No, yeah, I think you're right. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like that the other ones aren't this. I think we'd be fine. I think, you know what? It's 2023. You know what? I think we could accept a Scottish actor.
Absolutely not. If they're not American, they're dead to me.
That's fair. I mean, it is that he can be better by being American. So we should push him in that way. But yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, just something I noticed. I actually got one question for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is your favorite podcast host? You say you listen regularly. Well, obviously, DJ, it's Diggins. He's the superior podcast host, and Nando, you should be ashamed that you're not as cool as Diggins, the best podcast host. But I'm so sorry, gentlemen. I have to go on the chopper. I have to get to the chopper. It's very imperative. I get down. Thank you for having me on. Goodbye.
It's weird that halfway through there, Arnold Schwarzenegger was like slowly getting replaced by a Muppet.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what that was, but Muppet's a good one.
I think it's because he had to get to the chopper. It was very important. Diggins, are you super happy that he said you're the best host?
I mean, listen, it'd be like if I was happy that Arnold Schwarzenegger said that the sun is in the sky. It's so self-evidently true that it's like there's no joy in hearing it. It's simply a fact.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is not related to Arnold. It's related to Gerard.
Okay.
Anybody want to take a guess at how many movies he has in development and is upcoming on his IMDb page?
Ooh, this should have been the tiebreaker. Can this retroactively be the tiebreaker?
I mean, I know it.
Yeah,
so no,
then Nando wins because he has the answer.
I think I'm going to nail it. What do you think, DJ? You take a guess.
Between me and Diggins.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 5.
Diggins?
I'm gonna up DJ. I'm gonna say 6.
9.
Oh my god!
Including a sequel to Den of Thieves, a sequel to Greenland, and that's it. Those are the only sequels. I'm not sure what Kandahar is.
They are 2 sequels to movies I've never heard of.
Yep. Greenland, I think I wrecked it on the pod when it came out. It's not bad. It's like a one-shot apocalypse movie where him and his kid, of course, have to get to Greenland because that's where the rest of the people are, and it's like the end of the world or something. I wouldn't say it's good. Well, no, I think it's better than this for sure. Just because it's kind of different. But it does have him in it, so there's that. But you guys,
yeah,
what do you think? Do you think Russell Crowe is mad that Gerard Butler's happening? I think Russell Crowe could get some of these roles.
I actually don't think he would succeed in this role because, like, I would never be convinced that, like, Russell Crowe must save the lives of all of his passengers. For whatever reason, I'm like, yeah, Gerard Butler does have to save all the lives of his passengers.
Oh, yeah.
I just inherently believe it.
That's true.
I'm not getting that from Russell Crowe.
Yeah, I feel like Russell Crowe has put his gladiator phase behind him.
Yeah.
And is trying to be in his master and commander phase.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the dads.
For the dads.
For the dads.
The phase the dads love. Yeah, this guy's got a lot of movies coming up. I will not. I feel like we'll maybe see one of them on the pod.
Not all of them? Come on, Nando. Have a soul.
I mean, I think Kandahar might be a winner. This looks like very similar to this, like that kind of vibe. There's a movie called Afterburn, which sounds like a plane thing, so that's fun. A group of post-apocalyptic treasure hunters search for an ancient relic on Earth that has been nearly half destroyed by a massive solar flare. That's something. And yeah, a bunch of other ones. So they're sequels to like Greenland and Den of Thieves too.
That's the movie they're making about the people hunting for IMDb summaries that I talked about earlier.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. This is like kind of this is one for the IMDb people. Mm-hmm. They all want to be stars. In real life, that's why they got into the business.
I have a question.
Yep.
I think this is for both of you. Out of the 9 movies that are coming up, how many of them will just have this version of Gerard Butler where it's not him doing any kind of remote, like, American, English, whatever accent? It's just Gerard Butler Scottish.
So I'm going to take a guess and say that Den of Thieves is the opposite of this, where he is doing American accent. Just so those two are split. But I do think it'll be about half. I would say probably 5 Scottish for something else. Also, 2 of them are voices in shows or movies. And I think if you hire him for his voice, you're getting the Scottish voice.
Okay.
That's my guess.
That's fair.
I'd like to see him try something else, like French. You know, that'd be interesting.
I am Gerard Butler. I am the captain of the plane, and I am going to get you safely to your destination.
Exactly. That's what he would say.
Just like
I don't know
like Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, he hasn't done any musicals in a while.
Well, if
another
you
one
watch
of those
Phantom of
going.
the Opera, you'll know why.
Yeah, he's good in it. He's very good in it. You guys, I spun the wheel again, landed on somebody's says phone background.
Oh,
Diggins.
that's mine. This is a very minor thing. So while the pilots are talking about how they're both super cool dads that everyone in the audience can relate to, they like show each other pictures of their family. Like Dele has like a norm. Well, it's a normal picture, but it's like an account, like an actual physical picture, which is a little crazy that anyone still has those, but okay. And then Gerard Butler pulls out his phone to show a picture of his daughter, which is just his lock screen, and I swear to God, it is the actress's headshot.
Yeah, it really is.
It's just like her, like looking over her shoulder, smiling on a plain green background.
Plain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Full circle there.
I mean, maybe she's an actor in the movie. We don't know. We don't know what her job is.
College.
Maybe acting college.
Do it on the
That
side.
exists.
Yeah, that's expensive. You probably need to get Dad to do some extra plane stuff, on the side.
It's implied that's what he's been doing, is he's been working really hard at planes so daughter can go to college.
That's true.
College is expensive, and pilots traditionally just make no money.
Is that a thing?
I have no idea. I assume pilots make good money. Like, they're super in demand.
I think it used to be that pilots make pretty good money, but it's been getting worse lately.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably that as well.
Just like almost everything about airlines.
In the world, I'd say.
Yeah, there's that too.
People are making less money and doing more work. I would, and also his airline seems like one of those budget airlines where it's like, that's not good.
They're able to hire mercenaries.
All airlines can hire mercenaries, of course. That's not even hard. Imagine you get more if it was a Delta. You get a whole army of guys with chopper immediately. But these guys are the Spirit Airlines of guys.
The Filipino government probably would have actually sent in a team if it was Delta. They'd be like, right away, Mr. Delta, sir. But when they get the call from Trailblazer, they're like, maybe in 24 hours.
That's right.
It's like you guys do that thing Spirit Airlines does, where it's like the ticket seems really cheap, but then you have to pay to like have breathable oxygen and everything.
Yeah.
And like we're not about that here in the Philippines, so
we have respect for people.
We'll maybe get to your call.
I spun the wheel again, you guys. It landed on one of I don't know again. This one just says who's in charge here. So I've kind of skipped all the plane stuff, but still, it's fine. There's a big plane crash.
Well, the plane crash
this
is just like good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this is pre-plane crash. This wheel trunk.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Oh. I guess there's a couple directions we can go in this. So, my intent with this really was before the plane takes off, and like we allude to this, right? So there is a guy who. From the airline, who's like, there's a bad storm and you can't fly through it. You have to fly through it. And Gerard Butler was like, wait, I got a route here where I can just fly around it. It only adds an hour. He's like, yeah, but it's a low flight. We save fuel. You have to fly through it. And Gerard Butler was like, okay. And I'm like, would that pilot have no agency to be like, no, I'm flying around the storm. I'm not flying through the storm. I just won't.
No way. No.
Really?
Airspace is like very strictly monitored to prevent like mid-air crashes and everything. You got to do that's what air traffic control is all about, is telling the pilots where they can be.
But I'm saying like before they like take off, right? It's like, no man, I'm taking this route. I say mean, so. I'm the pilot.
Obviously, he should, but he is a cool guy, and that guy's a suit, and what the suits say goes.
I mean, actually, the real answer, DJ, is the reason flying is such a safe way to travel is because no, they can't do that. Pilots have very strict rules and stuff that they have to follow every time they do it, and they don't have the agency to be like, I think my way's better and we're going to do it this way.
But I also feel like it's so safe because an airline would never allow this to happen. Like they wouldn't be just like, yeah, fly through a storm.
Yeah, man, no company would ever do something irresponsible and dangerous to save a small amount of money.
But I feel like that's why air travel is like, it really is like the safest way to travel, just because like every contingency and everything is accounted for, at least as far as they can do it. I don't know, maybe it's like huge ignorant part on my part, but the crazier one besides like flying through weather, it's definitely you must take a criminal on this flight with you. Like, there's no way they would do that. No way they would do that on a plane with just regular people. Yeah, we get criminal aboard this plane now. And again, there's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, like, criminal maybe. Murderer, I think, is where they would
Sure,
maybe
yeah, the
draw a
murderer.
line.
Yeah. It's like, here, take the murderer.
But also, like, yeah, the idea that it's just handcuffs and that's it. I don't think this guy's, like, I don't think Luke Cage thinks he's going to steal the plane. Or, like, I don't think anybody thinks Luke Cage thinks that. So at the same time, it's like, well, I don't know, just don't make him wear handcuffs then. Pretend he's a normal guy and tell the pilot that. Because I do think everybody watching him get on the plane would cause panic on the airplane, but
yeah, or turn him into Hannibal Lecter. Just be like, yeah, he's not getting out, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I wonder, is this how they do it?
There's no way this is how
get
they
extradited?
do it in real life.
Why not?
Because it would be like a military plane, right?
Military? He's not being arrested by the military.
Or like, it's just a commercial flight. Just a regular old flight. It's
what
not.
What are they gonna do? Charter a jet?
Yeah,
maybe
even military people do that. Like they have to fly to war in like a passenger plane
just like
sometimes.
Regular.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I guess that is just what he does.
So you're telling me this happened? You're telling me that people are just like flying on planes with murderers constantly when they're extradited? That's just how it goes?
I mean, I don't know that there are very many murderers who get extradited, so I don't know about constantly.
But like, if it happens, that's the option, and because airlines wouldn't be cool with that, because they would get like so many complaints, no one would want to fly, and it would just be awful.
You know, tell them.
Maybe that's it. They're just like regular. I don't know. It just seems way off. I don't know.
That's why you don't put him in cuffs.
Prisoners fly on commercial airlines based on the circumstances of their extradition. Higher costs of private aircraft make commercial flights more economically feasible for less dangerous prisoners. Depending on the region, prisoners may use commercial flights up to hundreds of times per year.
Yeah.
But what about murderers? Can you find the murderer stats?
I mean, I feel like there's a difference between, like, crazy murderer and like guy who killed someone once 15 years ago and has just been on the run since.
That's true. But he was in the French Foreign Legion, though. I do feel like there might be something to like either put this guy in more or less chains. But like,
yeah,
we're gonna find out he's a super mercenary guy. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, listen, it's Luke Cage. He can get out of the chains if he wants, but it is very strange. I don't know. This whole movie's strange.
I guess what I learned today is captains have no agency, and they might as well also be passengers on the planes that they pilot. I guess
that's right.
All right, that's why I do this podcast, to learn.
Exactly.
Yeah, doing a
Look
service.
what you've learned
just for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, remember in the plane crash scene where he's like, "Oh, this storm's really bad. We need to go higher." He has to like radio in and be like, "Permission to go higher." Like, this stuff is very strictly monitored.
Wait, yeah. I'm sorry. I have a follow-up. In Con Air, those prisoners are not flying with just like regular people on a commercial flight.
Yeah, because that is like a special prison movement of like a bunch of prisoners that they can just put on one plane, so it's more economically feasible. You got one guy out in Bali, you got to get to America, you're not chartering a jet for him.
That sounds right.
I guess. Well, all right.
Yeah.
I learned something.
I buy it.
All right. Fair enough.
Now, the next question, perhaps the more important question, is okay, so it's a 14-person flight. Let's talk about the passengers a little bit.
Yeah.
We've got the main guy, obviously. Like we have Gerard Butler, the co-pilot. 3 flight attendants. Fine.
One's Bonnie. Because he said Bonnie
One is
so
Bonnie,
much.
That's right. One is named. And she's
I thought he was in
important.
love with Bonnie. I was ready for the Bonnie love story, but that never materialized.
Surrogate daughter, man.
Okay.
She's there so he can look at someone and be like, "I have feelings about daughter."
Mm-hmm. Then you had the vloggers, who will both die later.
They don't die.
Aren't they the ones that die?
No,
the husband and wife die.
You're thinking of the Korean couple.
Yeah.
They die.
Okay, yeah. See, if the Korean couple, they
die.
die.
The vloggers are also daughter.
Are the vloggers? I thought one of the vloggers was a guy.
Yeah, no, the vlogger's just one dude.
Oh, it's just one guy? Okay. So
who are the girls?
Vlogger.
They're not.
So they're the girls that take the selfie before the plane ride. So there's them.
There's 2 young girls.
Got it.
When I said vlogger, yeah, I mean that one guy who like takes out his phone and is like, "We're on an island." So you've got that guy. You have the stuffy guy who hates everybody and everything going on. Which, fair, it sucks.
You have,
but even like, what'd you say?
So then you have Middle Eastern man.
Yep.
Sorry, but were you going to say something about guy who sucks?
Well, I was gonna say, guy who sucks never stops sucking. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, in that last scene when they're all loading back on the plane, he'd be like, I didn't get my luggage back or something. Like, he just will not stop being terrible.
Guy who sucks.
He probably would have if he didn't get shot.
Yeah, that's true. Is there anybody else on the plane that we've forgotten? There's the kid who drives the car.
Yeah, there's the kid who delivers the best line in the movie.
Yep.
Which we'll get
Eastern
to.
guy. That's 13 so far.
And we have the prisoner and the other guy. His like, cop.
Yeah, but I don't think they count because they don't know that they're going to be on there until the end.
That's true.
Like, right as they're about...
I mean, there's probably another, like, daughter in there somewhere. There's a couple daughters that I kind of lost track of.
I think there's some other dude.
Oh, isn't there, like, another guy who's, like, vaguely Australian or something who's not the vlogger? Or no, he is the vlogger. This is a bad movie, actually.
Oh, no. Nando's turned.
It's been years, and I can still kind of name all the passengers on Snakes on a Plane by, like, their single personality trait and what they do. And this movie, they just don't even give a shit. Like, it could be a plane full of boxes. And it's just like, we gotta get the boxes. And then
boxes with personality. I have to check these boxes.
It's full of things my daughter wanted. I don't know.
This box is my daughter.
It's the bunny from Con Air.
Exactly, yeah. That movie knows how to do it. But, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Plane's dumb. So the plane crashes. And that's the end of the plane. Well, not the end of the plane. There's quite a lot more plane to go around. But for at least now, plane goes down. I agree. This is a good scene.
Good. I'm glad we're all in agreement.
Yeah.
Again, it's bad because there's that one moment where the guy's like, this is an old plane. And Gerard Butler's like, these things are basically indestructible. And I'm like, yeah, that is what pilots say. And in this situation, he lied or, like, was wrong. So, like, maybe they were all wrong. Maybe
well, no,
it
was indestructible. It
That's
really
true.
was.
At no point in this movie is it destructed.
That's a great point. Some of the people on it are destructed by it, but only the ones that get out of their seats.
Well, he didn't make that
so
clear. It's
really
like,
count.
this plane is indestructible. None of you are, but the plane, woof, great plane.
I did forget to make a wheel check out of this. The most unrealistic part of this movie is when he's cracking jokes at the, like, startup sequence and some people laugh at them.
I like that.
Can I be honest with you guys? I always laugh at the jokes every time.
Oh,
I'm like,
me too.
What? Yeah, right? You gotta.
Absolutely
I've been on
not.
at least one flight where they killed it. Like, really good ones, too. I don't remember what they were.
I knew Diggins was going to have the unpopular opinion. Somehow I knew.
I don't just
Explain
laugh
yourself.
at anything, DJ. If you want me to laugh, you have to earn it.
It's the man whose life is in your life is in his hands. Come on now.
You're assuming
you don't
I
want
value
him-
my life.
You don't want him spending the whole flight just thinking, like, I fucked that up. Oh, man,
bombed.
this is it for me. Yeah.
Bombs so hard.
Can they even hear us? I don't think so.
I
Do
mean,
you think every
it gets
time,
back
no
to
matter
them.
what...
The stewards
the flight
tell
attendant probably comes
Yeah.
in and goes, really crushing it. Even better than last night,
I was
every
gonna-
single time, no matter
the
what.
flight attendant just says that every time, no matter what the reaction
Yeah.
was.
That's what I want. I want my pilot to think he killed it. That's a good trip.
Yeah.
Like, positive. But, yeah, it's pretty weird. I mean, it's weird. I guess the weirdest part of it, for me, of the whole flight, is when everyone died. And, like, when the first time it's all been, everything's fucked, he gets out of the cockpit to just go do some,
Yeah.
like,
What was that?
checkup. And then he gets a head injury, and it's like, yeah, because you got out of the thing. That's how those go.
That was
That's why most
insanity.
of
I
you stay
can't
in.
believe he did that.
Yeah. He just loves his crew that much, you know?
And his passengers, nothing is more important to him.
And don't forget,
Except for his daughter.
Yeah, except for his daughter, the most important thing in his life. Don't forget when the like officer sees his phone in the aisle during like
Yes.
mega turbulence, and is like,
Uh,
clearly this is more important than living.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like we've all seen enough movies to know don't do that.
well, they didn't expect the plane to attack. The plane gets them real good.
They were going through some pretty good turbulence already. It's not like it was like
And this is-
it came out of nowhere.
And this is after the flight attendants are all like, "You all need to strap in. Shit's fucked." Like,
Yeah.
flight attendants usually are like downplaying things. I feel like if I got to a
Yeah.
point where the flight attendants are no longer downplaying things, I would think this is really serious. Oh my god.
Also, you've got a gun. If someone takes your phone, you can just get it back. Like, you're going to be fine. Although
Yeah.
maybe he had some pictures on there
Like-
you want people to see. I don't know.
His daughter. Pictures of his daughter.
Oh, those are the best pictures. They didn't know he had a daughter.
if the landing is so rough that he is unable to find his phone in this cabin afterwards, I feel like you probably have bigger problems.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's pretty weird. I do think that flight attendant was dumber, right? Like, what's she gonna do? Get out of her chair and wrestle him back into his chair?
That's fair, yeah. And she knows, right? She's like,
yeah.
Like I guess he could be an idiot, like, taking my life into my own hands. I'm invincible. But she should be like, if I do this, I die. So she really should have a better handle on it.
And she got a real big death, too. That was a sound effect.
Oh, man.
This movie had a lot of sound effects, didn't it? This certainly was one of them.
They didn't expect the plane to fight back, I'm telling you. Who accounts for that?
I account for it. I feel like it's like a worst case scenario. How do you not account for it? These people are just so foolhardy. They think they're going to survive anything. Yeah. I feel like aren't normal people like the second there's turbulence go, oh shit, this is it. I'm thinking about who you said you loved like to as you shake for the first time because it's all over.
No, I never worry about turbulence.
Oh my god!
Come on,
I know it's not dangerous, but I still worry about it.
I sit when they tell me to. I don't like this cop be like, I'll be fine and get up, but I'm not worried about it.
You don't think you're gonna die?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I wish I was that.
I am so chill on flights. Like, I am completely unbothered by them.
Do you just have a general, just like lack of anxiety that you're just like
absolutely?
Yeah,
not
it's
that.
Diggins.
Well, then why do you have reckless abandon with like flights?
Because it's the safest way to travel. Statistically, nothing bad is ever going to happen to you on a flight.
I mean, yeah, it's true. The worst thing about flying is like all of the other stuff. Like that's what sucks about flying.
Yeah.
Not the actual flying. It's like the losing your luggage. It's like the what happened with Southwest. Like that's the flying nightmare. Right. That's the thing that you should fear when flying is that you're going to get Southwest.
And like all the germs. It's fucking gross.
Yeah. No, for me, it's like if a plane is in trouble, it's like I don't have to do anything. I am in no way going to help this problem. So I'm not worried about it. It's like, whatever. It's out of my hands. There's no reason to worry.
Do you ever get like on a flight and you'll see like, oh, like 3 nuns, a soldier, 8 babies, and be like, oh thank God, we're good. This plane's not going down. There's no way this flight's going down. We're totally good.
Absolutely not. That's the plane where I'm worried will go down because of the dramatic irony.
That's true.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten on a plane with like 2 other very famous podcasters and you're like, fuck, this is it. we're the day the podcast died. I knew it was coming.
I guess not, since Nando, you didn't fly with us out of LA.
That's true. Yeah. I had a different flight. I mean, you don't know. Again, this is America. About half the people have podcasts now.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm definitely.
Well, you said famous podcasters.
Yeah, you did.
That's true. Yeah.
Which actually does not include us then.
I mean, listen. Yeah. All the famous podcasters are also like Bill Clinton or whatever. So it's hard to become a famous podcaster by podcasting. But yeah, so the plane, we did all the plane stuff. What was I going to say? It is an incredible landing if that was a real landing. I don't think a lot of the people on the plane give him enough credit for how incredible it is.
Well, they do after that one, if they're the guy who sucks, starts being like, you stupid piece of shit, you got us killed.
Yeah.
And everyone else is like, shut up, dude, he literally saved our lives.
I appreciate that part of the movie. For as much as we complained there was no conflict, I'm glad there was some like, oh, good, sensible humans.
Mm-hmm. This was the horror movie from Community where the 2 main characters do all the sensible things. They stand in the middle of the room with knives, you know? It's all just reasonable, smart people. But I spun the wheel again, you guys. It landed on something called, it's one of Diggins. It just says, scary foreign country.
Yeah.
It was scary, wasn't it?
So they land in the Philippines, and they land in a jungle, like we said, on the island of Jolo, which, as I said, is actually has a lot of dangerous separatists on it currently, and has been the site of many kidnappings in the past. So that part is, at least real, but they don't know that at first. Instead, it's just like, we land in place that not place I know.
It is not.
What if thing
though,
bad
so
in place bad. I don't know?
Exactly.
And then we get to see like the dirty village where a guy runs over and is like, Warlord who runs everything here. This is the thing that happened. And Warlord goes, we can do big crimes now that thing happened. It's just, it's so on the nose.
So on the nose you respect it. No? I think you do. I think you liked it.
I also like how when he goes to that one place with the phone and is like calling someone, the guy who's, I assume, who like owns this place or like lives here or whatever, or works here, whatever this actually is, because it's like abandoned but also not. I guess it's part of the separatists. His
I don't know what that is.
Choke this strange man out and not like talk to him.
No, come on, that's what you do. You choke him out. That's protocol. That's in their manual. That's like in their orientation training. Hey, you see anyone you don't know, you choke them out.
Even if you're evil separatist in movie who is bad and foreign, like, trick him. Be like, hey, what's up? Where are you? Like, oh, don't worry, I'll take you somewhere safe. And bring him to where all the people with guns are.
That's true. Maybe he was mad that he, like, fucked up his phone. He was overcome with rage. Because Gerard Butler does, like, invent a phone there. It's very incredible.
Yeah, right?
There's all the math that could ever be done, and yeah.
He's very good.
He's the best.
It's part of his qualities. And again, because he was a cargo flyer in the Royal Air Force, he just knows how to do that.
That's right. Yeah, I was going to say, it's interesting, too, because I do think that he, I guess I do think that the things that he's, like, saying and doing don't make any sense, obviously. But, like, not like they don't make any sense. But, like, I do think it's insane that he does choose the prisoner because he finds out he's French Foreign Legion and stuff, which is what he's going to do and go into that, like, warehouse or whatever it is. And I love how he just leaves. That's great. Like, that was maybe the only comedy beat that got me in this movie. I don't know. It's pretty good.
Was that supposed to be a comedy beat?
No, but it was. I mean, I think it kind of is supposed to be a comedy beat because it's like, yeah, duh. What do you think was going to happen? Even if he is noble, he still might leave.
I mean, yeah,
right?
you play with fire, you get burned, yeah.
He left because he's so trustworthy he was actually doing a plan. So it's pretty good.
Which, by the way, offered no tension in the movie because you knew he was good guy. Like, it wasn't like he left, it's like, oh no, I'm worried about what's going to happen.
I need, like, Christoph Waltz or something for this role.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, he would eat everybody if he thought he could get away with it, but he won't today because of all this bullshit.
Not good man Luke Cage. He's the best.
Yeah, not
man.
the guy who is already mostly well known for playing a character who was wrongly convicted of murder. Like, it just doesn't work. Also, I don't know if this is Mike Coulter's just, like, limitations here. He's pretty much just doing Luke Cage, too. Like, he sounds like Luke Cage. I don't know if he has, like, a Luke Cage voice, but if he does, he's doing it here. And maybe that's why they hired him, and they were like, go do Luke Cage stuff. But, yeah.
Is it not just him? Similar to Gerard Butler, the Scotsman? Is that,
well, again, then I want an accent or something. Make one up, you know? Have some fun with it. You're from, Boston now. What's that guy like? He doesn't have that many lines anyway.
Like, I spent 15 years in France, and I kind of picked up the accent.
Yeah. That could be fun.
Like,
or be British because he hates the Brits. That would be fun. Then we got a little culture clash going on.
I do think you're right that the beat of him just disappearing is so funny, especially when you find out that, like, I mean, I guess we never really find out what he was doing. We just kind of assume he went to go do a Metal Gear Solid level.
Yeah. Yeah, really it was.
So, like, he couldn't say, like, hey, this seems really fishy. I'm going to go check some stuff out. He had to just disappear like he's Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because he does vanish. Like, he's just gone.
And he does that, and then Gerard Butler gets bum rushed and has to murder this man with, one-shot close camera stuff. And then Luke Cage shows up, and he's like, I just killed those other guys. And it's like, oh, good, you're back. Because that's why you left, and it's actually good that you left. It's like, no, if you hadn't left, we could have killed him, and then we'd still have the phone. Like, we were up to something. Right. The whole plan wasn't just kill some guys. It was get the phone. And I did some fucking shit. I don't even know what it was. I did random wires, and it turned out to be a phone then. You have no idea how lucky I got. And it didn't work, because they came and got me because I didn't have anybody watching my back. In Scottish. That with a Scottish accent.
Right.
But yeah, he doesn't get it's weird. Speaking of that, I spun the wheel. I spun the wheel, landed on one of Diggins' the most unrealistic thing in the movie, about a young person.
Yes. So, as we said, Gerard Butler finds like an old dead phone, which I guess is still receiving electricity. because he is able to just cross some wires around and it works now.
Yep.
It works and will place international calls.
Hell yeah.
So
Yeah.
So
They
first
don't
he
even
tries
have
to
to
call
collect.
like customer service at the airline he works at, but man, customer service people, they're so unhelpful. Am I right?
Is that a wheel chunk, Nando? Did that make it to the wheel chunk?
Did it make it to the wheel chunk? No.
Okay, so just very quickly, the best moment of realism is that interaction he has with the customer service, where like the airline knows that the plane has crashed, and this woman will just not get him, Gerard Butler, to the person he needs to talk to. Just will not do it, man. Too many prank phone calls. I loved it. I loved how bad the customer service was.
I kind of want to see her day up until then. Just answering the phone. Hello? Oh, it's me. I've been grounded. Like, well, no, that's not it. Well, maybe they think he's Australian. I don't know. And then she's just like, prank phone call. Nobody sounds like this. This is a fake accent someone's doing. And then he calls up and she totally buys it.
Hello?
Yeah.
I'm Captain Brady Torrance.
Yeah.
I've crashed. I'd like some assistance, please.
I mean, listen, it would have made about as much sense, especially because he tells her so much stuff.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, what's your badge number? He's like, I don't have it. And like, it crashed or something. Just assume it's gone. I'll tell you other stuff. He also, though, doesn't really make the effort, I think, that is reasonable.
He does what he needs to do.
No, but I feel like you could prove it in some other way. He just goes, hello, like, it just says hello a bunch.
Hello?
And like, wait, don't hang up.
Yeah, why can't
Yeah.
he be like, okay, this is my birthday. This is my, here's some facts about me that might be in the employee database or whatever.
Here's my
She's
boss.
not helping. It
Talk
doesn't
to
matter.
him.
She's not helping.
I think she hates him. I think he did something like to fuck up this relationship, and she is excited to watch him die. That's my read on their relationship.
It's not a bad one.
Yeah, because it is so unreasonable how much she immediately doesn't think it's him. Also, like, yeah, he's calling from fucking the Philippines or something. Where the plane is. Does that not come up on your caller ID? Do you think these kids are using VPNs and shit to, like, spoof locations to trick you? The front desk lady at the airplane? Like,
Now,
who gives a shit?
Let's be fair. They probably are.
They probably are. And then, listen, the kids have gotten really good at pranks. This is going on TikTok. This is probably the problem is it's trending all over as like plain idiot man. But
she got fired, right? Like, she got fired.
They got the audio, so it's not like really. They actually, even though this is like a problem where it's like this lady doesn't believe him, then he gets cut off from his daughter. Actually, all the info reaches them just fine, and there's no issue.
There's the lack of conflict again.
And the daughter thing could be the whole thing. Like, because that's the bit where, like, the daughter tells him everything he needs to know. I don't know why we even bother with this bullshit.
Because you have to show how bad airline customer service is. Like, this is like, if the airline's supposed to be Spirit, this is Spirit's competitors being like, see, you're not going to get the good customer service from, like, United or Delta or whatever.
Right. And we need a bunch of suits. We need levels of bureaucracy between our hero who could just use a gun to save everybody and him doing that. He has to have exhausted every option.
And we need more opportunities for Scarsdale to be heroic. He's the only competent one in this whole operation.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway. After that call fails, he calls his daughter, and that's when the most unrealistic thing in the movie happens. Which is that we see his daughter hanging out in Hawaii, like on her computer or something. Her phone rings once. She picks it up, does not look at the number, and answers it.
Yeah.
Insane.
Especially insane because of the situation. The news would be calling her and being like, are you worried about your dad, the pilot? And, like, she would get flooded with bullshit like that.
Yeah, it's true.
And even if it's like, I don't know, maybe she does think, like, I know he can, create a phone out of 2 cans and a string, so he probably will call me, but I don't know. She's taken by surprise when this phone call comes through, so it doesn't seem like she knows that. So yeah, it's insane.
I mean, even aside from the situation, she's clearly a Zoomer, and even millennials like ourselves won't do such a heinous act.
Exactly.
Why
Good
would
people. Yeah. I spun the wheel again, you guys. Landed on one of somebody's. Someone just says Metal Gear Gas Bar. We already said this, but yeah, they do Metal Gear stuff a bunch.
Honestly, like that's the part we had already talked about was the implied Metal Gear. They actually just go through a Metal Gear level later.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
It is pretty good. There should be a bit where someone yells "Gaspar" over like a comm or something.
Gaspar!
Yeah.
Gaspar!
Gaspar!
Little exclamation points. Bring! Like, just like pop up.
If every time someone said something, it's like Gerard Butler's like, we have to fix the plane. And Gaspar goes, the plane?
Yeah. Yeah. Call the airline. You have their number. It's on the back of the box, Gaspar.
Oh, man.
This movie would have been much improved if it turned out at the end that the Filipino warlord man was a genetic clone of Gaspar, but with all the recessive genes instead of the dominant ones.
That would have been good.
Yeah, why didn't they make that movie?
Why didn't they make that?
Cowards.
Yeah. They really
They are
cowards.
making that
They gotta
movie.
Get it together. That's true. The Rock's probably in it.
God. Well,
hype.
there's one role he would actually be a good fit for, but it's a villain, so he'll never do it.
He'll be the good guy. He'll be hero at the end for some reason. It's it's a tough situation. I spun the wheel again. You guys landed on another one. It says, scary foreigner. So we've kind of talked about this, but the bad guys are some sort of military, like, what do we call them? I guess
Separatists is
warlord.
kind
We've been calling them
Separatists,
separatists.
yeah.
So there is a real separatist. Well, I don't know if they're exactly separatists. They're like, this is the real word for it. They are Islamist terrorists.
Okay.
Because the Philippines has Muslim natives, but it also is majority not Muslim. And so because it is a developing country, there are some areas where that causes some instability, and this is one of them.
How much incredible restraint to leave that part out.
I know, right?
Right? One part where he just curses Gaspar to another god, and it's like, I get it. These guys are bad. That feels right up this movie's alley. But hey.
They're called like
Yeah.
Abu Sayyaf or something like that. They never say that in this movie. They're just kind of like vaguely some kind of militia or insurgency.
Militia's a good way to describe. That is kind of,
it's pretty good, yeah.
Anyway, they show up at the plane because a villager told them plane exists, and Warlord Man is like, plane, we could get money for plane.
Yeah.
And they show up, and they are like, this is like the one part of the movie that feels like it came straight out of an 80s movie. Where I'm like, this is some over-the-top racism. Where they're like, first of all, they're all filthy. They're all absolutely disgusting.
And they have like, they've got like a bunch of guns. They're loaded. Everybody's loaded with guns and knives and shit. And they just do a lot of yelling. And yeah, it's exactly what you think. And I feel like Gerard Butler brings these sorts of characters show up in Gerard Butler movies a lot. But yeah, it's just like all of those guys that you've seen a million times before.
Yeah, they actually don't even cast them. You start filming a Gerard Butler movie, and one of your scenes will be interrupted by a bunch of these guys showing up.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty good.
Yeah, but no, it's so over the top because they like come in, immediately start firing their guns into the air like 100 times.
Yeah.
I'm like, aren't you like a cash-strapped militia? I don't think you can be
Yeah, he's, like, wasting
100
ammo.
bullets for no reason.
Yeah, especially because I don't think you got the ransom for those people you murdered.
Yeah, I don't think
usually
you
what
guys know
happens
how
when
this
you
works.
didn't do the ransom exchange part of it.
Now the real terrorist group on this island has killed some of the hostages they've taken. The vast majority they do ransom.
Oh yeah, all companies do this shit, and like it is insane that when our guys in the boardroom are planning this, they're like, "We'll give them a little bit of money." Companies all have money for this, especially probably an airline, because it's all kinds of international, going to places you're not expecting to go to. So like, yeah, it's slightly more transactional, I think, than the movie makes it out to be.
Yeah.
Not to diminish the like experiences of people who go through this.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, they like, remember when we were complaining in Black Adam about how the Justice Society handles Black Adam, where they're like just like immediately busting down the door being like, get on the fucking ground! This is like the terrorist version of that, where they immediately come in and start firing their guns, like doing the creepy, foreign man is in this poor white lady's face. What could happen? demanding the passenger list. Another thing that I thought would... So, like, in the 80s version of this movie, what I really thought was going to happen was they hand over the passenger list, and it's like, uh-oh, they're going to know everyone who's here. But the cop and the prisoner weren't on the list. So when the guy's like, where's the captain? The co-pilot can be like, oh, he died on the flight. And then he shows them the cop's body and be like, that was the captain.
Yep.
And then that gives Gerard Butler and Gaspar, the element of surprise.
I think the screenwriter just forgot that. Because I think that,
Yeah,
sounds
right?
like it has to have been in the original draft. Otherwise, why are we killing 2 people? And then we have 2 people escaping. Like, it's just too easy. And 2 of them aren't supposed to be there. It's perfect.
Yeah. And then they also killed those 2 Korean people, which, like... Generally, the reason why groups like these would behead someone would be for the purposes of terror, which is to say broader terror, which is why they do it on camera and not just randomly when they get mad.
Well, but they have a bloodlust because they are bad and they're foreigners.
They're
so
savages,
they have to do it.
backwards.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. Gerard Butler movie, Diggins. Did you miss something? I mean, we do get the bit where they do film the video thing, so there's a little bit of that, at least. They seem to know what they're doing.
I'm pretty sure, by the way, that video camera that they find where they play back an old message, I'm pretty sure the people whose like names they're saying on that, who they were ransoming, are 2 real people I saw on the list when I was checking that got kidnapped by this real group. Which
Wait, really?
feels kind of... I'm sure they were actors.
Wait.
Like, it wasn't a real video.
No, right, but like to use the names.
Yeah, it felt kind of
Did
gross.
this happen?
What?
Did we not hear about this on the news?
Like I said, this group has kidnapped a bunch of people.
Yeah, but I mean, like, was there a pilot that almost, saved all his guys and then a helpful prisoner?
The movie
Is this based on
playing
a
has
true
not
story?
happened.
Maybe it did, though.
Just
I wouldn't have
the-
assumed
No,
it did.
part.
These 2 people that I'm pretty sure get their names dropped, this happened like 20 years ago.
That's crazy.
Also, they implied those people are shot because they have old passports and there's blood on the wall. Those people got ransomed. They lived.
Of course.
Yeah,
That was so many of these people.
I like that. I
Oh
think this
my
is a
God.
great detail to add to this movie this late in the game. Just throwing in some real
Yeah,
names.
right? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
That's so weird. Oh my
The movie
God.
wasn't even dedicated to them. I had most of the credits going. I didn't notice anything like that. The movie was just like, yeah, we were just...
Also, the vast majority of people who get kidnapped are because there are, like I said, resorts on this island. So some people go to them and then, I don't know, I guess they go to the outskirts or something, and that's a bad idea.
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
fair enough.
You're not supposed to. Gotta listen to your gas bar. Or not your gas bar, I guess, but listen to some of your dudes when they say not to go places.
Or maybe just like, I don't know, is the island of Jolo so beautiful that this is where you have to go on vacation?
Travel bloggers will not take no for an answer. Like,
Facts.
it's impossible to get them to stop doing bullshit like this, so I guess kind of. But
Anyway, yeah, so it was just very over-the-top, scary foreigner stuff, which I found a little uncomfortable.
but on brand.
Yeah, certainly on
You know,
brand.
like, it felt like what you'd expect from one of these. What else was I going to say? Oh, that's it. I spun the wheel again, landed on Diggins' funniest line in the movie. Let's talk about that because it was pretty funny.
It was.
I'm like 90% sure this is the only line of dialogue that guy has in the entire movie.
Yeah, we don't learn
Well, I
anything
mean,
about him.
what else do we need to know?
Until this thing. Well, we can get some background on this so the line makes sense.
I mean, I assume he's some sort of like, I don't know, race car driver.
Well, there's
or stunt
literally
driver.
an analog to this in Snakes on a Plane with, was it Keenan?
Yes,
Who's like, I
Keenan.
can fly a plane. And then
Because of his
at
PSP
the-
experience.
And then it turns out, yeah, he did it on the PlayStation, but it works anyway.
Yeah, that movie's good.
Like, that's at least a joke you have set up and then execute. Mm-hmm. This one is just, so they do their Metal Gear Solid infiltration. They, like, CQC guys, including one simultaneous CQC they do at the start, which is goofy as hell.
Wait, what's CQC?
Close quarters combat.
Oh, sure, yeah.
From Metal Gear Solid.
Right, right.
And they get to the people. They get the keys from the guards. They unlock it. They get everyone on the bus. Everything's going super swell, actually. And for some reason, one of the passengers has just sat in the driver's seat with no direction from anybody. And Gerard Butler accepts this immediately and just asks this guy, who again I am fairly certain has not spoken the entire movie, and says, "Can you drive this thing?" And the guy just like looks at him and goes, "Yeah, I can drive anything."
Yeah.
It's that action movie intensity too. It's like I can drive anything.
drive anything.
It's like very serious.
And it's like he says it like there's a whole backstory to this character we're supposed to know.
No notes.
Yeah. He
No
says
notes.
it like he's given a spaceship to fly, too. I think most of the people on this bus can drive a bus. It's not easy, but it's not that hard. I think the pilot is probably going to be the best driver in the group. I don't see why the co-pilot doesn't get to do it.
Especially if you're driving it down a straight road with no other people on it. It's like almost anyone could do that if they know how to drive at all.
I think we could put a brick on the gas pedal and then just go. Like, we'll probably make it. We might bump into a couple trees, but we'll be okay. But thankfully, we have,
Yeah, like
This guy.
What is
Ferrari
this dude's
character.
deal that he's so confident he could drive anything?
Because he can.
He can. I mean,
He can. He's done it and he can.
Did he wish for on a
do it.
genie? Did he find a genie and wish for the ability to drive anything?
I mean, he's glad he did. Look what the situation called for.
What are you not understanding here? You can drive anything.
He can drive anything. Except for, like, probably, like, a plow. I think there's a lot of things he can't drive, though, to be honest.
Guys, what? I don't understand what you're not understanding. He can drive anything.
All right,
It would be funny. And you know what? Actually, I want this as a comedy beat later in the movie when they're starting to play and like, get in here, kid. And he's like, whoa, I meant cars. And they're like, okay, fine. I won't drive the car.
He's like, you don't drive a plane, you fly.
Yeah.
Duh.
It was very specific. I use my words very carefully here.
Don't even think about asking me about boats. You pilot those.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Don't even. I'm tired of people asking me about boats. He would say.
I'm intentional.
Yeah.
Segways, no. I don't know. You ride them. You don't drive a Segway.
You ride a Segway. They can drive anything. Could he drive the plane like down the runway before he flies it?
I'm
could do that
assuming
part.
he could, yes. If they just had to get physically like further down the runway, he could drive the plane and do that. But the second those wheels leave ground, he's completely out of his depth.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard skill to do.
Yeah.
To drive anything.
He's the best character in the movie. Hands down.
He's pretty cool. Clearly, we've seen how cool this stuff was. It's bizarre that he has this moment and never drives anything again.
Or before, or does or says anything.
Yeah.
So many of these are just like throwaway lines. These are all boarding. It's like, oh, what do you do? It's like, oh, I'm a NASCAR driver or whatever.
Right,
like,
yeah.
These are all just throwaway lines that the movie refuses to give us.
Again, in the 80s version of this movie, we would have found out that he was like a stunt car driver or something.
Yeah.
And then he does a crazy bus chase sequence while they're getting away.
Like, even Snakes on a Plane knows to do this. Like, I feel like we have seen this movie several times. And, it's not that hard to do. You just do what we just said, pretty much. And he goes and, like, that was what Snakes on a Plane came out, 15 years ago, maybe? 2006, I think?
Yeah.
It's been a while, but it's not that long that we forgot everything about a plane movie.
Yeah, it's not an 80s movie, right?
Again, this is why it seems like it's a thing that happened, is because they couldn't really make up traits for these guys, because he's not a NASCAR driver. He's just a temp at an office. But they still had to work with the actual story. I spun the wheel again, you guys. Landed on one of mine. This one just says the suits. I like the suits in this movie, you guys.
I wish there were more of them. I wish it was more exclusively the movie was the suits.
Where were those? Like, I mean, the suit guy is great because he doesn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other guy is cool, and he does give a shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I like that we had 2 just one-way press conferences where there's, like, no questions from the media, and there's, like, he's doing a hard press conference, but we don't, like, we only see it play out insofar as we see him on a TV at a podium, and it's like, this guy's got a tough job at the press conference.
Also, both press conferences are him going up and being like, this plane went down and we don't know what's happening. And then he does another one later that's like, we still don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, why'd you call this then?
Because what does Scarsdale say? You have to get ahead of the story or else it's going to consume you.
The first one makes sense. You call a press conference to announce that something happened and you're doing everything you can to rectify the situation. Why do you call a second press conference like 5 hours later to be like, there's no updates, guys?
You should give him some information. Everybody's going to be fine. The man that can drive everything is on the case. Him plus this small militia we have hired is going to bring our boys home safe. Also, we know about a couple of daughters, so that might also help our guys figure this out. So, daughters, stay safe yourselves. Try not to get kidnapped in like some sort of third act twist, and we'll all be good.
Hey, here's a question. How did the daughter get through?
What do you mean?
What?
Like, to the airplane people?
She probably told him, like, hey, I'm the daughter of the pilot and whatever.
Yeah, but they're getting crank calls all day, DJ.
She gave her employee ID. My employee ID is this.
She doesn't have an employee ID. She doesn't work for the airline.
It's something. She gave something where or more realistically, she got a more helpful customer service person who isn't shutting down every call.
Right. She probably has the dad's friend's number or something, and she called them instead of like 1-800-Frontier or whatever this airline is called, which is what he called, I guess.
In Gerard Butler's defense, if I had to physically remember a phone number to like save my life, I would be fucked.
Well, that's the thing. That is the most unrealistic part of the movie. Not the girl answering the phone call. It's that he didn't have to sit through fucking hours of menus waiting to see if he had to press 7 to get to airport, service or whatever.
Well,
because there is no answer. You cannot call anything to get a person on the phone anymore if it's a company.
I assumed he did call the number that was like the number to call, right? Like he called some kind of like back end number.
Well, then why are they getting prank calls?
They wouldn't be getting prank. Yeah, if it was the secret line for just the employees, then she'd be like, "Oh, you are an employee, okay."
Right.
Now, someone posted it to Reddit. That shit happens all the time, where like employees like post the phone numbers to different things on Reddit or some shit like that. So they still get their prank calls.
That would be great, though, if this was a line set up for this, and this was the only call she got that day. This is a prank call. And then
she's like, no, it's not you.
Listen,
he's not that Scottish.
We wouldn't let him fly a plane.
Listen, there's absolutely nothing that could have happened in this movie that would make me blame that woman, though, because working customer service will destroy you.
Yeah, it's true.
If I were her, I would also not want to deal with anything.
Oh, yeah. And also, Gerard Butler's weird. I don't know. He seems nice, though. Except he punched that guy. Maybe she knows that guy, and she's like twiddling her thumbs after.
Oh, that was her husband.
Yeah,
that's why she secretly
maybe it was
knows
her father, and that's why father is the important. Only father can destroy father. I spun the wheel again, you guys. I slanted on one of mine, the gun that shoots bricks. So when we get back to the plane,
yo, don't talk, Nando. Don't you dare slander my favorite part of the movie.
I liked it. I just think it's like, I know this is another thing on the wheel. Spin it again. It landed on. Seems like you guys could have won. I get that our guys didn't bring everything. Like they didn't have all the guys to get out, but they did bring a fucking airdrop from Call of Duty full of every weapon you could want. I'm surprised they didn't have a flamethrower. And I feel like these guys, I do think the terrorists, when you see the gun that can shoot bricks, really turn around immediately. Like, oh, we're out of our depth here.
Yeah, we're a ragtag militia. These guys are like the United States military. We got to get the hell out of here.
For people that don't know what we're talking about, there's a guy. So we don't really meet too many of these guys. We meet the first, because like we're saying, the man who isn't the suit but is in the room. Played by the guy, not the guy from Entourage, another one. The guy that did the voice for something we've all seen. What was it? I looked up his IMDb page, too. You guys all heard his voice, so I'm sure you remember it already.
Man's name
obviously.
is Tony Goldwyn.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously we remember him from King Richard, the movie that Will Smith won an Oscar for.
For punching that guy?
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's why he didn't get on. That's why he got stuck in the...
Oh, crappy, no, you're thinking of the Belko experiment, Nando. That's what we all know him from.
I never watched that. It seemed interesting, and then no one ever talked about it, so that's never a great sign. But no, obviously I'm talking about Divergent series, Insurgent. Only the first two, though. I guess he's only in those. Let me figure this out before I'm dead. Tarzan. He did the voice of Tarzan. Yeah.
I was going to be like, he's Tarzan in all the video games, but then I got to the actual movie, and he was also Tarzan in that.
Yeah, so good for him. Again, I did like him in this because he was the only man with some sense. When what's-his-name gets on the phone and everybody... When Gerard Butler does finally get back on the fucking plane and he's ready to start it and the guy, like the other suit is like, don't you go do it. You're all going to die. And this guy's like, fuck you, suit. What do you need, Gerard Butler?
Yeah. Scarsdale's the hero of this movie.
Yeah, Scarsdale's the only man with some sense. My God, you should punch one of the guys in the room, one of the suits, because they deserve it. Anyway,
oh my God, can you describe the gun that shoots bricks?
Yeah. So he sends like I don't know what is it like maybe 8 guys, all covered in camo and giant bulletproof vests with the guns that are basically like you look at them and they sound like paintball guns. They're humongous, but these guys the other bad guys have like AK-47s and these guys have brand new guns with the tags still on them. And they also bring a bunch of other weapons and a bag of cash that is not good enough for more than one person, which I don't know. I guess get one person then. Don't bring it, but whatever.
Yeah.
One of the guns they have, and the only special gun, too, for some reason, because they don't have a flamethrower or a rocket launcher, which would be really handy later on, is a sniper rifle that they use to shoot people from, I don't know, like 100 feet away, which means he is punching holes through both sides of a car, hitting a guy, and then that guy goes flying. Like, he just got punched by the Hulk. It's awesome.
It was definitely supposed to be some like 50 caliber gun, like a gun that's meant to be like mounted on a tank. That is just like it's for the recoil from that gun would send the guy like the guy shooting it flying backwards, but it's totally good.
I think whoever put that on the wheel is right, though. I do think he could kill all the militias with enough time, and preparation and stuff, which they do have a pretty good head start on the militia. They could bring democracy to this country.
Before they even start the plane, the initial wave of militia guys gets there and they're fighting them. They're down to 2 guys by the time the plane is leaving.
Yeah.
Well, then the second militia shows up, which is bonus militia, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is bizarre how none of the military Marine guys die during this. You kind of figure one of them's gonna sacrifice himself or something. That guy will have to die to turn the tide of the fight, but he never does.
You know what else would have been super useful for them to have on this mission that they definitely had the ability to take, and yet nobody seems to have a single one of? Grenades.
Band-Aid. Oh, yeah. Grenade.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That would have been helpful.
Grenade would have been big. I don't think you could bring a plane equipment, but I don't see why you couldn't bring something. Did they know why the plane crashed? I guess they don't know why the plane crashed. Do they?
I don't think so. No. Well, no, it's struck by lightning. I think they know because it got struck by lightning.
Yeah, right. I think he says that on the call that they listen to later.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, so they couldn't bring back a spare fucking solenoid or whatever. I mean, what's his name does he does the electricity and fixes it. But still, there's a lot of things they could have brought. But yeah, it's just
they could have brought some jet fuel in case they needed to melt steel beams.
Oh, that would have been handy.
Good one.
It's funny because this does devolve into another kind of Gerard Butler movie where they just kill the terrorists for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
It's important.
I spun the wheel again. You guys, we're almost through this wheel. Okay. Landed on one of Diggins' Scotty Sullenberger.
No, that's DJ.
That was mine. Yeah.
Oh, DJ. Sorry, yeah.
So I love this because the movie 2 different times positions Gerard Butler in a situation where it's like, I gotta land the plane in a place where you don't normally land a plane. So the first time it's the movie actually got me because I didn't know what this movie was gonna be about, and it's it seems like he's gonna have to make a water landing because the plane is running on a battery that they have to manually time, and then he's that's fucking land, and he sees land, and then it's okay, but it's a bunch of trees, so is he gonna have to land it in a forest? That's impossible. But then it gets to a road and he lands it, but then he's flying 400 feet in the air, the plane's not even kind of able to do it, but then it's so funny where the one guy's on the phone with is, you must get it to 4,000 feet. He's like, dude, my doors are open and we're being shot at. Shut the fuck up. Tell me where I can get to an airport. And it's just I just love that this movie, to make it plain the movie, has to include all the dramatic parts of, I gotta land this fucking plane in places where I'm not supposed to land this plane and fly it where I'm not supposed to fly it. God damn it. It's really commit to the bit.
They will never let him do what he wants because he's an incredible pilot. They're always messing things up. Even in that one moment where he's the plane's going to fall out of the sky in 10 seconds. He's too bad. Drive it as high as you can. You don't trust him yet? He landed the plane the first time. Just assume he's not bullshitting you as a prank or whatever. I don't know. And this is where I did want the other cool guy, the Tarzan, to just like, fuck you, and punch the guy from Entourage, but he doesn't.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It does feel like there's the time when it's like, oh no, it's going to be a water landing. And I'm like, I still think that's better. I think that'd be okay.
Not with those swells. Remember, it's like, those Whitecaps don't look too friendly.
Oh, that's true. The Whitecaps aren't friendly. That is
I will say, the actual good parts of this movie are when, like, he's flying the plane in a perilous situation, and it's like, how am I going to navigate this? I actually thought they were, like, good parts of this movie.
Yeah.
The movie should have just been Sully.
It should have been Sully. Yeah, Sully, but he keeps having to start the plane again.
Yeah.
Try again. It's like 8 ones of those.
It's more geese. It's like, all these fucking geese coming from.
Yeah.
I
was going to say, there's also a lot of, and this happens twice with the co-pilot moments where the co-pilot asks him, like, are we going to make it? While they're, like, about to fall and die. And he's like, I don't fucking think we have a choice, buddy. We got to try. I really like Gerard Butler's attitude there.
It's legitimately
like,
good.
You're right. We should turn around. Let's see if we can convince him to let us live.
It's like, it adds tension to the movie, and it's like, it's legitimately good, and it's for a movie called Plane, it's so little part of the movie. It's mostly a combination of Metal Gear and the gun that can shoot bricks. Mm-hmm. That's like what this movie is.
Well, it's that, and then the other thing, which we haven't really gotten into too much, is the prisoner with the heart of gold, because Luke Cage does take the money instead of getting on the plane, because he doesn't want to go back to jail. Yes. I think he's going to be the new president of this island.
The money that
everybody else is
looks
dead.
like the mercenaries were just going to leave behind anyway.
Yeah, that's how they
it's just in a bag away from the plane while they're like doing a retreating firefight. Like,
yeah,
you're just going to leave it?
Yep. I mean, it is funny, too, because they're like, you know, he runs out of ammo. He's like, get me more ammo. Where is it? It's in the black bag. And he runs over to the black bag, opens it up, and it's full of like it's like he robbed a bank. And he looks at it for a second, and he's like, should I take them? I don't know, take both, dude. You have 2 hands. One could be the ammo bag, and one could be the cash bag, and just go. And that is what he does eventually, but not at that moment. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he lives there now. That's nice.
Well, first, Nando, we can't forget that. So while the mercenaries are getting on the plane because it's about to start trying to leave, he grabs the money and runs off into the jungle. Yep. Then it turns out that he runs faster than planes and cars.
Yep.
Has gotten to like the end of the runway before the Jeep with the warlord and the plane so that he can fire a man trying to fire an RPG at the plane. Just in time to save everybody.
That is pretty good. I don't know a lot about RPGs. I'm pretty sure if one gets hit by the wheel of a plane going like however many miles an hour it takes for the plane to fly, it would still explode, right?
Well, TJ, you're our expert on this question.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to go with yes.
Yeah, I feel like I was like, in
why
that
am I
moment,
the
I was like,
expert?
that's
TJ,
not enough.
You literally do stuff like this.
You're a mercenary.
I do spreadsheets. I can tell you all about the spreadsheets.
You don't understand
that bag with cash.
the science of what you do even a little?
No.
Hey man, we're not here to adjudicate my knowledge. You know, I'm going with the yes. I'm going with the yes for the purposes of our conversation.
I mean, like, I feel like it definitely would explode. Otherwise, it's never going to explode.
That's fair.
Like, and it was just in that moment, I was like, oh no, that's not enough to get him. Like, they're still fucked. They're not quite as fucked, but like, they don't have landing gear anymore, I guess. But no, they're fine. 2 more things on the wheel. Spun it real quick, landed on one of mine. Clapping when the plane lands is never cool. It's so lame when they do it in this. It's like,
really, even after what they've been through?
Even after what they've been through, it still doesn't work because they don't all do it. Most of them are off the plane by this point. And it's like, you guys should be fucking kissing his feet. Clapping? Like he just, sunk a 3-pointer? Like, what are we? He's a superhero. I don't understand. I think their reaction to him is weird. Spun the wheel one more time, Diggins. This one's yours. He died 3 days later of yellow fever.
Yeah, so after he saves all their lives and gives Gerard Butler the nod before walking off back into the jungle, like, I don't know, what's Gaspar's plan? He's on Militia Island in the jungle that he doesn't know. The very thing that he at the beginning of the movie said would be like stupidly suicidal for him to do.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
Sure, he's got a bunch of money, but that just means he's going to get robbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he could maybe walk to one of those resorts and then get home that way.
Yeah.
But also, everyone on this, they must alert everyone on this island. Like, by the way, there's this fugitive who's on this island somewhere. Here's his picture. I'm sure every, like, actual government-controlled place is getting that notice from the American government.
Yeah.
Unless the Philippines isn't an extradition country.
Yeah, I think it is, right?
I'm checking that right now.
I feel like after the Fast and Furious one, we did look this up.
Oh,
right? Not
yeah.
specifically Philippines, but we looked up countries with no extradition.
No
and
extradition. Say it right.
Yeah, I think the one he's in is the best one out of all of them, which is, where is he, Italy? No. Where does he go in that?
I thought it was somewhere in... Now, was it South America?
I think it...
Now I'm questioning.
God.
The United States does have an extradition treaty with the Philippines.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So yeah, like, he's just going back to jail then.
Yeah.
You might as well get on the plane.
Well, I mean, I guess they'd have to catch him. Like, the government doesn't do that on this island. But yeah, I mean...
But what non-government way is he getting off of the island?
I don't think he is. I think he's going to live on the island. I think he's going to be the new king of the island. The old one died, and it's going to be like Luke Cage Season 2. He's in charge now. He's the new bad guy of the next one. But yeah, I don't quite understand it either, because I don't think cash is going to get you that far on the island where this all happened.
Yeah.
You know, I still think you need a little bit of capital in terms of just like being part of their group or not. And I don't know. I'm just going to take a wild guess and say they're going to know he's not part of their group. So it's not good for him.
Wait, hold on. At the beginning of the movie, the officer says that they found Gaspar in Bali, right?
Okay.
Like,
sure.
I'm not crazy, they say that?
I think
don't
so.
remember, but
It
I
sounds
believe it.
correct. So we're going to go with a
I have
yes.
the movie here. I'm just going to go through it. But, assuming I'm correct about that, Bali is in Indonesia, a country the U.S. does not have an extradition treaty with.
Crushed it.
That makes sense. It's pretty good.
Good job, movie. You got
Could
got
have
by
just made
Diggins.
something up, but they didn't. They picked one of the... They'd never even Googled it.
Idiots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, Gerard Butler dies in this movie, right?
Yeah, right? That's...
He got
like,
shot a bunch and also kicked a bunch. I don't think he's okay.
I was so ready for... Because I was watching it with Michelle, who... And I'm quoting her... Because, like, by, like, the 3/4 mark she was done, and I was like, oh, no, come on. She's like, I literally could not care less about this movie. So that's where she was by the end of it.
Well, again, she's not a father. It's close, but she's not... You know, she doesn't have quite the connection some of us do.
Yeah, right. But I'm like, no, he's gonna die on the plane. This is gonna be his arc, and it's gonna be like sad. But like, he did it. His passengers safe. He can die peacefully on the plane. But because he just needs a minute on the plane, he's like, Bonnie, give me a minute on the plane. And she's like, promise me you get to a fucking hospital. And he's like, I will. But yeah, he just like needs a minute on the plane by himself for whatever reason. Not super clear.
Okay. I double checked the scene. He was found in Bali, which is in Indonesia, a country the U.S. does not have an extradition treaty with. However, he's being extradited to Canada, a country that also does not have an extradition treaty with Indonesia.
Oh, I thought they had it for a second.
Almost. Yeah. So they went out of their way to find another country that wasn't America, where he wasn't flying to anyway. And they, or like he didn't have to be flying to. His daughter lived in America. You have to assume that's where he's going to end up. But they still went out of their way to find
So wait,
Well,
no, but they were going to
connected to.
Singapore. Does he have an
No,
extradition treaty with Singapore?
They were leaving from Singapore
leaving from
to
Singapore.
Tokyo, and then he was going from Tokyo to Hawaii. They were going from the prisoner and the cop were going from Tokyo to Toronto.
So does Tokyo have an extradition treaty?
It doesn't matter because they found him in Indonesia. That's the one that would be extraditing him. This is just travel.
Can they extradite him to Japan and then Japan?
Yeah, and then
gets
is
him,
it
and
like
then Japan
transitive
goes,
extradition?
Yeah, we're
I
going
don't-
to Canada.
I don't think that's how extradition works. If he didn't commit a crime in Japan, Japan can't extradite him.
I'm sure they can figure some crime out. It's the cops these days, you know, playing something.
Yeah, I thought you could chain it where it's like, oh, well, this country has it with this country, and this country has it with this country, so we could just, transitive property extradition. I thought those were the rules.
Nope.
Pretty sure it is.
Also,
I
did you
think
know?
Diggins is wrong.
Did you know a lot of countries won't extradite to the U.S. Because we imprison minors,
Wait, really?
Oh, that's good to know.
or they won't extradite minors because we imprison them at least.
Oh, interesting.
That's smart.
Really, most countries aren't imprisoning minors, really? Oh, how about that? Is it because, like, they're dirty and they're digging around for coal all day? Is that why?
That's probably what it is. Yeah, our You'd be surprised Joe Manchin isn't lobbying hard to keep our minors out of prison. But it is the one space where he does not have room to do it. Joe Manchin and Matt Gaetz could finally agree on something. We gotta keep these minors out of prison. But you guys, this is the whole movie ends, and he's like, "I love this plane so much," and then it's the end of Plane.
It's the end of Plane.
That's
It's the end of Plane as we know it.
What do you think? Okay, let's say this movie makes some money. I don't know. I haven't actually checked. Let's see. Box office. How much do you think it costs to make this movie? First of all,
Oh man, like I'm gonna go with like 40 million.
it looked good sometimes, but also it was 2 locations, including a plane.
That's true.
Yeah, and also none of those were in the exotic place that they say they're in. They're just in Puerto Rico.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Was that too high?
I'm still looking.
I'm gonna go with. I mean, Gerard Butler's got to run a pretty penny. I'm gonna go with 70 million.
Really? So I haven't looked it up yet. I'm gonna say it's like 20 max. All right, because they don't have this on Box Office Mojo anymore because the website is bad now. Budget.
It's taken over by IMDb.
I usually just check on
honestly.
Wikipedia. They usually have it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess IMDb doesn't have it anymore either. Wikipedia. Okay, Plane. I will tell you, it made... Well, no, it's more fun if I do it this way. Okay, so the Plane movie, everybody knows it. Plane. Something you cannot Wikipedia. No, not planes, not Soul Plane, not Snakes on a Plane, not Money Plane.
So many
Jesus
plane
Christ.
derivatives.
Look up Gerard Butler. Okay, so we got Gerard Butler. Let's see what his most recent movie is. It's Plane. Okay, so then let's pick one of them, and then we'll see. It'll say how much it costs. Maybe this movie isn't on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes or any of them. Didn't even exist. Okay, budget $25 million.
Yeah, well, you were right, Nando.
Yeah, I can kind of feel it. It's on the cheapish side. According to Wikipedia, and this makes sense, it had a box office of 41 million.
Okay.
So it's like almost profitable, depending on how much marketing they put into it, which I don't think is all that much, but I feel like was some.
I mean, the general rule of thumb for this sort of thing is you double the budget, and that's marketing.
Yeah, I agree, except sometimes when I don't see a single trailer or poster for it outside of a movie theater, I assume they cheaped out a little bit.
Right.
But also, I'm not a dad, so maybe they weren't directing it.
I feel like they were really
going crazy
targeting
with
the
Facebook
dads.
ads.
I did see 7 trailers. Like every time I clicked on a YouTube video, you should have gotten residuals, Dan. It was all yours. All your YouTube videos, just plain ads, plain ad after plain ad.
Yeah,
That's
that was
smart.
like a whole 17th of a cent for Nando.
I'm going to pivot to plain content now. Now that I know that's what the people are after. So yeah, let's say they make Plane 2. What do we do with it?
Oh my gosh, different location, right? We're just like, finding a different,
Well, they crashed somewhere else, but it turns out the big warlord militia man who lives there is Gaspar.
Yes.
Ooh,
I think Gaspar
okay.
comes back to help. I think they crash at like the island next door, and Gaspar is like their only aid. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be something because I bet this will get a sequel.
You weren't joking? You think there's gonna be a Plane 2?
Let's say it makes 50 million in its whole run, which might be a little low. Honestly, it might make 45 if it's at 41 now, because how many more people are going to see it next weekend? But
Yeah.
on top of that, with like other stuff, residual, home box office sales, Black Adam toys, it's probably going to make enough money that it's maybe worth making another one. And Gerard Butler makes a lot of movies a year, so I don't see why not. I don't know. I could also see this movie getting doing okay on streaming and stuff, and then that pushing it into production. But
Right.
I'm not guaranteeing it, but I think it's possible. But yeah, I think they have to go back to a different Philippines island or something, or maybe Gaspar is traveling, so he's in whatever Brazil or wherever they're gonna crash land next time. I don't know, but
I'm sure it'll be great, whatever it is.
Yeah. You guys, do you want to get to our classic segment?
I would
get to our
love
classic
that segment.
All right, let's recommend some things. DJ, do you have anything to recommend to the fine people?
I do have something to recommend. So for those of you who know me, and you guys know me super well, I'm a big old fan of your
MILF Manor.
I will not recommend that show. Of your JRPGs and sometimes tactical RPGs, which is a way of saying, hey guys, the new Fire Emblem is pretty great. So Fire Emblem Engage came out I think about a month ago now, maybe less, maybe 3 weeks, but it's really good. It's the latest installment in the Fire Emblem saga. Now here's what I have to say. Big caveat. The story's terrible. The dialogue is terrible. But, like, the combat and the tactics and the customization is so good. Like, this game could be either so awful or so amazing, and it's, like, it's so good, but the story just isn't there. And, like, fortunately, I'm like, I don't care about story all that much. I'm just, like, give me my meaty content. But, yeah,
DJ demands big meat.
Yeah.
That's all he wants is the biggest meat you can give him.
Obviously. Isn't that what we all want? Just want that meat. But yeah, I'm playing it. I'm loving it. I don't really care about the story. The dialogue is so bad. I actually think there's a line where, so like the main protagonist, this happens in like the first 5 minutes of the game, where it's like he was a warrior who was asleep for 1,000 years, and he wakes from his slumber, and like the people guarding him are like, "You've been asleep for 1,000 years." And he's like, "What? How long have I been asleep for? 1,000 years?" It's like, come on, man. We can't just like restate the statements as questions. That can't be this, but it's a lot of
1,000 years.
Yeah.
Hope the food's good here.
That was his principal concern. Also looked like a lot hadn't changed in 1,000 years, which I was like,
Yeah, it's about the same as it was. What was it? In 20 or in 122? It's probably about the same as it is now.
Maybe it's like the thing where
Then
like,
again, the difference between 1022 and 22 is
exactly. It's not much.
quite large in many ways. Is not as dramatic a difference as between 1023 and now.
That's true.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm loving the game. Y'all should pick it up if that's your jam. I don't have any shows to recommend. I am pretty psyched that we're getting Love is Blind Season 3 After the Altar. I just can't wait to follow up with these chuckleheads.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
When does this come out?
Friday. So
No.
February 10th. Yeah.
Oh, so is it just like one special or something?
I usually the After the Altars are a couple episodes.
Nice.
So, yeah, it might be like 2 episodes, but yeah, we're going to get Cole. Can't wait to hear from Cole. Gonna hear from Zay. Like, really excited. And then on Valentine's Day, we get Perfect Match from Netflix, which I'm really excited for. I will not watch MILF Manor. I refuse. I vehemently refuse.
I watched it.
Well, all right. I'll
wreck it.
I was going to say, I'm going to pivot here to Diggins. Do you have any recommendations?
First, I was going to is watching that show that's coming out, how you and Michelle are going to spend your Valentine's Day.
It actually is, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very romantic and amazing, if you ask me.
Well, to each their own.
Put the kids to bed.
Kids? You had another?
Put the kids to bed. Sorry, I thought I was
like
using
children sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I do have a rec or two in my back pocket. Let me just root around in there and pull it out.
I'm going to root around.
Root around. Here it is. I watched a little movie the other day called The Last of Sheila. This is a murder mystery from the 70s that was a big influence on Glass Onion. You can see it's somewhat similar premise where this like rich movie producer invites a bunch of his has-been friends to join him on a yacht for a week, and like he set up this big elaborate game for them to play. But the game that they're all supposed to play is interrupted by murder. And then they have to try to figure out what happened. It is, besides being a big inspiration for Glass Onion, it is also notable for being the only movie ever written by Stephen Sondheim.
Oh, is that why he's in Glass Onion?
I think that's part of it.
That makes sense.
Stephen Sondheim and Anthony Perkins, who played Norman Bates in Psycho, they wrote it together. For both of them, it is the only movie they ever wrote.
That's cool.
You know, it is similar to the Rian Johnson murder mysteries in that it's very much just like, and especially like Glass Onion, where it's like the beginning is just like seeing these people interacting together and how much they all suck and hate each other. But like in entertaining and fun ways. And then like when the screws tighten and the murder happens, it gets really tense and exciting. And then also the mystery itself, like the solution, is extremely well thought out to the point where there's not a single clue that wasn't basically in plain sight. where you can go back and look at it and be like, how did I miss all of that? God damn it, which I think is the best kind of mystery, where they can misdirect you well enough that you don't see all the clues, but also they're not hidden. It's all perfectly possible for a person to figure out.
Absolutely. Those are fun.
So that is a really fun movie. I think it's worth watching. I also want to give a quick rec. I haven't technically played this yet, but because it just got announced today and just came out today. But I'm going to give a quick shout out to the Metroid Prime remaster that just dropped on Switch. Because the original Metroid Prime is one of my favorite games of all time.
True masterpiece.
And it's just a remaster. So they just took that game that already exists and made it look prettier. So it's probably still one of my favorite games of all time. So you should, if you never play Metroid Prime back on the GameCube or on the Metroid Prime trilogy on Wii, you should definitely pick that one up, because it is a stellar, first-person exploration shooter game that I think really... I think it is the most successful transition of a series from 2D to 3D of that era. Because,
that's pretty...
Did you ever play Metroid Prime?
Oh, I love Metroid Prime. I am a huge Metroid Prime head.
I just feel like it really... I don't know if you ever played the 2D Metroids.
Yeah.
I just think it really captures that feeling of exploration and, finding things, and just... The atmosphere of that game is also incredible. It feels so isolating to be on this alien planet by yourself, filled with hostile wildlife and space pirates and other stuff. The music's incredible. The game feels great to play. The scanning. Who doesn't love to scan every bit of the field and read a bunch of lore about fucking bats that explode when you get near them or whatever. It's all so good. That's one of the best games ever made, IMHO. And if you haven't played it, it's now on Switch, super easy to pick it up. You should do that. Nando, do you have anything to recommend to the fine people besides MILF Manor?
Besides MILF Manor. So real quick, things I did, things that are just plain old Rex. I don't think I watched or read too much stuff this week that's new. I feel like I read some comics, but I can't remember which ones they were, so they're not getting recommended. I played a little bit of Apex this weekend, and it's fine. Overwatch is also fine. They're all fine. I honestly don't think there's anything else that I've been really getting into this week. But besides
talk about MILF Manor, my dude.
So last week I mentioned that I had legally come across MILF Manor. And so I watched, after I was done with this last night, I was...
come across MILF Manor?
Oh, very good.
How dare you.
Well, so I watched it while I was doing something else last night.
Oh, I bet you were doing something else.
Oh my god, this is horrible. No, I'm done.
And let me tell you, this show is boring. I don't think it's very good.
What?
Yeah. So here's the thing. The MILFs are boring. They're not that exciting. There's the one that's the horny MILF. First of all, it's 10 of them. I can't really keep track. Maybe that would change over time.
Only one of the MILFs is horny?
So
what's the point?
She has asserted herself as the horny MILF. That's her thing from minute one. And all the other MILFs are I don't really want to deal with her. But I don't know if this was clear from the marketing of MILF Manor. What do you guys know about what the show is?
I honestly, very little.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Diggins.
I do know the twist, but I also know they did not advertise the twist.
So so there's the twist, which is that the men they're all dating are one of their sons. So they are not dating their son.
What?
The pool of 8 MILFs also each brought along one son to be added to the pool of dateable guys.
Oh my god. I'll cancel this show immediately. What are we doing?
In theory, I don't hate it as a really weird conceit for a show. The way the show presents it, all the MILFs meet at a little, it's because it's in the, Bahamas or something. So they're all a little cabana having drinks, talking about their jobs and how much they love dating young boys or whatever. And they get a phone call or text, 'cause it's all texts, that's go stand in this wall, and then we're going to open it and reveal your hunks or whatever. And we see the guys go up, and we don't really see their faces. Not that it would matter. But then so they can see their silhouettes, and we can see that there's that many guys, and the moms are ooh, look at him. And then they take the thing down, and both groups are surprised to see each other, which I just fundamentally do not believe. And only one MILF explains it, or mom or whatever. She's I thought he was going to a different dating retreat show. I didn't realize he'd be on mine. What? Excuse me? You all knew this and you're bad actors, and it's fine. Like, if you acted like that, it would be okay. The fact that they play this as a twist is very stupid, and makes me not buy anything that's going on in the show. I know, like, with any reality dating show, there's a certain amount of suspension of disbelief that needs to take place that any of this is real, or, like, that any of this is genuine. And I think for me, I'm pretty good at that, unless you do shit like this, that it's like, well, obviously it's not real then. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But as far as, like, the dating, I don't know. Like I said, there's Horny Mom and then probably others that will start relationships, but I just don't think I'd keep watching it. Not because it's so disgusting or terrible, just because it's also kind of dull. The moms and the boys do interviews together mostly, where they're like, I don't want to hear you talk about sex, Mom. Or Mom's like, I don't want to hear you talk about sex, boy. The first challenge they did to determine who got the nicest suite, because there were 2 nicer suites in this, like, you know, mansion or whatever, was all the moms got blindfolded one by one and went up and touched the abs of all the boys and tried to find their own son's abs.
Oh, come on.
So, like, yeah. But again, if it felt more genuine, I think I would buy it. But it just felt like this is, like, they're just, I don't know, like, it's not as weird as it is. They're all in on it. Like, they all know what's going on, and they prepared for this mentally. And, you know, it's weird. I don't.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
How did the sons not know that the other MILFs are their, like, mom's friends or whatever?
Well, yeah. Well, it's not their mom's friends.
These are 8 MILF strangers.
8 separate stranger MILFs, yes. They are all introduced to each other on the island. And according to the story that the producers told them to tell, each of them brought their sons with them to this trip to go on a MILF show, but the sons actually happened to be going on a different show at the same time that they didn't talk about. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, I do feel like it's too preposterous to work for me as a dating show. And I think the MILF banner part of it's fine in theory, but it's just not, it just doesn't work. And all the MILFs are kind of weird, but of course they are, because they're dating show people. But, like, it's just, I enjoy watching either the MILFs or the sons, because they're also kind of dull. Neither of them are exciting in an interesting way, except for the one horny MILF, but who cares? So, yeah, I would not recommend it. I don't think it's very good. And I'm not a huge, I wouldn't say I'm a huge snob for this kind of stuff, but I think there's a reason that even though it has an insane premise and it's getting lots of attention, nobody I know is watching it. Yeah, besides that, I don't know. I haven't been up on too much stuff. I feel like I've been listening to podcasts maybe, but nothing super exciting.
Also, just real quick, I don't know why, because there was a different show on Hulu called Back in the Groove, which was this, but it wasn't the MILF part. It was the I like younger men part, and I don't know. I just find that a little less horrifying. It's the mom part that I'm like, I can't.
So if it was just Cougar Cabana, you'd be fine with it?
Yeah, it's less because they're interacting with their own sons at parts. It's like, no, stop it. I cannot abide by this.
So DJ, you wouldn't go to an island filled with hot horny MILFs if one of those hot horny MILFs was your mom?
I would drown myself. I would drown myself immediately.
Well, so I also think the problem with this, as someone who doesn't watch a ton of these but seems to kind of get it, is the casting. If you have to cast one exciting MILF, that's not that hard. But if you have to cast an exciting MILF who has a son, who's into women that age, and is also exciting, it's borderline impossible. So instead, they get a bunch of dull ones. Maybe with 1 or 2 gems in there, but not enough to, sustain a show like this. I did kind of expect it would be more like Back in the Groove, too, where, it's just a couple of women and a bunch of guys, kind of like the F-Boy Island, and it's not that too much going on, which is not a shame because who cares, but also it's interesting. Oh, you know what's fun? This is something I could recommend. We all love Barstool Sports. It's a cool, normal website written by normal people. So
and owned by people who have never done anything wrong.
Exactly. So, DJ, did you see this thing that they did this week?
No, I did not.
So one of them does his pizza reviews. He's the main one, and his whole thing is he goes to pizza places and tries the pizza outside.
Yeah, he did one in Patterson that he loved.
Yeah, I feel like he's probably done a pizza place near you if you live near, like, within, I don't know, 10 miles of an airport. He's gone to so many. He went to, I want to say Wisconsin for one this week. And, like, I don't normally watch these, but I found this one because it's funny. And the place was closed because they were having a holiday party. And he got really pissy and looks like a real brat. But they did upload it because they thought it made him look cool. So if you want to watch this guy be, like, kind of a piece of shit, and if you want to go into the comments and see everybody being like, yo, what the fuck's wrong with you? They're having their holiday party. It's kind of fun. But
it's Portnoy, right? He's the one who's like the...
I don't remember their names, but I think so. Because it's just... He's like the one who went on, like, interviewed Trump, right?
Yeah, he's the guy.
Is he the one who got in trouble because he went to Twitter and tweeted, if anyone in my company does a union, I will bust that union so hard.
Yeah, that is him. He's always the one doing shit like this, and, you know, he's awful for a lot of different reasons, but none maybe more so, not more so, but more prevalently than the fact that he's an internet celebrity who thinks he is an internet celebrity and should be treated like a real celebrity.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, it's the worst kind of person that exists. But he, like, so there's a lot of versions of this where he will get in a fight with someone and be like, don't you know who I am? And this is the only one I've ever seen on camera, so it's pretty fun.
And he looks like an actual dork, like, and
yeah, he does look like a dork. And everybody in the comments was being like, "You're being a real douchebag. Like, don't do this." So it's that rare moment when the Barstool audience turns against it, like Frankenstein's monster. Yeah,
you think they wouldn't put that up or edit it in a way where it's like, "What a hero! He saved Christmas," or like whatever.
Right, and it's interesting because, and I think this is why it couldn't work, those are usually in one take, right? They just walk up to it and he goes, hey, it's me, I'm at the pizza place, here's the pizza, yum, 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 4 out of 5 or whatever. Right. Or it's, you know, it's usually some decimal. But, yeah, so they couldn't do that. If they had to edit it, everybody would know what happened. But, and it's funny because the people having the holiday party are like, we could give you cookies, do you want a beer? We're cool and nice. And he just still gets mad. So, I love it. When someone does that, when they do like an own goal, but also think it's cool, so they turn it into a video. Right. Like they still put it out as content, like Ben Shapiro does from time to time. It's always fun. But you guys, do you want to? What are we doing next week?
Is that when Ant-Man is out?
Nah, it would still be a week.
Yeah, so we could theoretically do Ant-Man 1. My enthusiasm for that is pretty low.
Didn't you guys do Ant-Man 1?
No, we did Ant-Man 2.
We did Ant-Man 2. I mean, maybe we did, but I don't remember it.
Not in our mostly nitpicking status.
Yeah. I mean, we could do, I don't know, like some other time travel movie. We could do like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, you know. But even this isn't really that. I hear it's mostly Star Wars. It's kind of what they're going for with this movie, so I don't want to do that.
Let's do Rise of Skywalker again.
Yeah, so let's give it another
10
shot.
Out of 10.
we weren't fair, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, we could do the My Hero Academia one.
Do you think
like
10 to 20 years from now there will be Rise of Skywalker apologists like we have prequel apologists now?
I'm sure they're out there now. Everybody.
They exist.
No take on the internet is left unmined after maybe a year. And yeah, I don't think they'll say it's the best one, but I do think they'll be like, it's more good than bad. You know, it's like, this scene was good, this actor is good, and the movie was worth it for that reason.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's of quality content.
Mm-hmm. It's better than Boba Fett. Maybe, probably not. I don't know. It's a hard one.
I don't think so, honestly.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's just Boba Fett has the cardinal sin of you put a different show's content in there.
Yeah, but at least that show's content is good.
And that is an amazing thing that they did. Like, it's just so insane. I do like that part of it. Oh, yeah. So we'll figure it out. If anybody has suggestions, let us know.
Yeah, we won't listen.
I do feel like there was something else that we could have done that I can't remember what it was. So
Johnny Stacchino.
Well, no, so that too, but something else that had just came out that, but maybe not.
Knock on the Cabin? Is that what you're thinking?
No, because it was something we could all watch at home, because I'm not going to a theater to watch Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah, me neither.
Maybe it's like a Netflix movie or something. I don't know. Do you guys want to get to our classic segment? Second most classic segment.
Why not?
We do,
why not
where
do
we
it again?
Plug some stuff. Does anybody have anything to plug, DJ?
Oh, yeah. Roses and Rejections, covering the Bachelor season, which has been a really unremarkable Bachelor season. We're definitely more excited to cover all those other shows I mentioned, like the Love is Blind After the Altar and Perfect Match. We're really excited for Perfect Match. Netflix has more or less delivered on like the dating reality shows that like it's it's put forth. So I've been pretty happy with Netflix's product.
Yeah, they seem to have it together.
And they're going back on the password sharing thing apparently. Like that was like a JK.
Yeah, there was a typo. They accidentally wrote password sharing instead of like period at the end of a sentence. So silly how that happens sometimes.
This is a go figure.
Diggins, you have anything to plug?
Just my usual stuff. You do have a newsletter or perspective.substack.com. It's times at twitch.tv/this is an odd name. And I have to plug not having food poisoning. I think it's really cool, and we should all appreciate it while we have it. What about you, Nando?
Yeah, just videos. I don't think I put out a new one. Oh, you know what? I did. I put out one on my Nando Cut channel that is 10 characters that might be in the DC universe thing that James Gunn said that aren't the main characters of those movies. So just like, who else could be in there? That video's fun. Besides that, I recorded a podcast yesterday, but it won't be out for a couple weeks, so I won't recommend it.
Was it this one?
Yet. I mean, technically, yesterday is, it is after midnight, so I did record this podcast we're listening to yesterday.
This probably won't come out for 2 weeks, so.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. So whenever you're listening to this, this might be the podcast I'm talking about, or it might be another one. You'll just have to listen to every episode of Mostly Nitpicking to hear if it is that one.
I can't wait for us to expand the Mostly Nitpicking cinematic universe.
We're going to start a podcast network?
Oh my God, yeah. That's what all the cool podcasters do. They get whole networks.
That's right, where we can have podcasts that people listen to that nobody listens to, or ones that are better than ours. Those are the only two options. It's like, this isn't really working, or like, obviously this should be the main one. So that's always fun.
Yeah, I like that.
So until next week, I've been at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
This is an odd name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Woohoo!
Bye. We love you.